Due to CFL blackout regulations, the football game scheduled at this time cannot be seen live in your area. Please stay tuned for our alternate programming.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers needed a new face for '98. Plan A was free agency, quarterback T.J. Rubley, big play receiver Chris Armstrong, and Iron Horse back Sean Millington. The result, 5 games, 5 losses. So now it's on to Plan B. The agile Kevin Mason takes the helm. Armstrong was replaced by ex-Lion Mike Trevathan. And Eric Blunt, not Millington, is the team's leading rusher. Is this the winning formula? Find out as the Bombers visit the Argos tonight on the CFL Live. A rainy night in Toronto, but you'd never know it inside Skydome, where, as always, the weather is perfect for our matchup between the Argos and the Blue Bombers. Hey everybody, welcome to CFL Live. My name is James Duffy. Tonight, a first for the Argos in '98, their first game against an Eastern Division rival. And the Bombers looking for their first win of '98. Now with me, as always, our analysts Eric Tillman and Chris Schultz. And Chris, they're getting impatient out in the Peg. Could it happen tonight?
Well, you know what? I think they have a shot to win this football game, and I think that surprises a lot of people. But when you look at Winnipeg, they're very easy to assess. They've had 28 turnovers, and they've had no consistency at quarterback. Mismatch, maybe, maybe not. I think if Winnipeg does 2 things well, if they're productive on first down, if they don't give Kevin Mason 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 10, 2nd and 15, they're going to see a good game by the young quarterback. And number 2, they have to get the all-purpose yardage leader, Eric Blunt, involved early and often. And I think Sean Millington needs to be a surprise tonight. We need to see some production out of him. Now, Eric, when you look at Toronto, a different set of keys.
Well, Chris, I think the key for the Argos tonight is going to be 12 to 15 plays. If Winnipeg holds true to form, that's how often they're going to blitz. Is Winnipeg going to get to Kerwin Bell, or is he going to light up the Bombers for big plays? Should be a good one, Chris.
All right, and let's get you right to Skydome. Here's our John Wells and Leif Pedersen.
James, as always, this game is about quarterbacks. Both these teams started the season without a proven pivot. Last week, the Argonauts found their guy when Kerwin Bell came back and led them to a crucial victory over Calgary.
Well, there's no question, John. You know, this is truly a quarterbacking league, and what a difference it made to the Toronto Argonaut team when Kerwin Bell came back. Those were his numbers from a week ago. To think that he was out with the broken arm, comes in, throws for almost 400 yards, wins CFL Player of the Week honors, and you just saw the lift that it gave his team. Everybody had confidence. You know, you look back at your season, there's always going to be little turning points, and I really think that that win in Calgary, led by Kerwin Bell, could be the turning point of their year.
Now, the quarterback confusion continues in Winnipeg. They were hoping that T.J. Rubley would be their guy for 1998. He had 5 starts, but tonight the Bombers make a change. They'll go to Kevin Mason, who has limited playing time in the CFL.
Yeah, I mean, it's the total reverse of what the Toronto Argonauts and the direction that they're going. Winnipeg just doesn't know who can be their quarterback. They really don't have the leadership right now. Kevin Mason starts. He's never had great credentials in this league, and he's probably a better runner than a thrower. I think he's going to have to do that tonight, but clearly the difference in this game is quarterbacks. One team has a good one, solid foundation. The other is scrambling, hoping that somebody can emerge and lead this team to their first win.
And the Blue Bombers really have to hope that guy might be Kevin Mason tonight. They cannot afford to go 0-6.
All right, thanks, guys. One other game tonight already underway. Montreal leads BC 8-7. Jim Sandusky has the TD catch for the Leos, and former Bomber Chris Armstrong makes an immediate impact for the Owls with a TD catch. As for our game, well, Kevin Mason from 3rd string to starter in a week, and he's got a new target tonight in Mike Trevathan. The new-look Bombers and the Argos are coming up next.
Got to see that's how I dream to be. Boom, 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 boom.
I dream, I move, I dream, I groove. Like Mike.
If I could be like Mike. If I could be like...
What's up, Mike?
I'm not going to sing.
When you're a champion, you've got to work night and day to protect your title. Everyone wants to put you to the test, to make you sweat. But if you've got antibacterial odor fighters in your corner and 24-hour wetness protection, the kind you find in new Speed Stick Ultimate Antiperspirant, the best speed stick ever, you'll be a star in and out of the ring. New Speed Stick Ultimate, tough 24-hour protection.
5 minutes.
That foot odor.
Can anything stop it?
New odor eaters insoles, now with Arm & Hammer baking soda to neutralize sweaty foot acid, the cause of foot odor.
No more foot odor.
Only Odor Eaters has Arm & Hammer baking soda.
Welcome to Nanaimo, home of the bar, and Vern Goldsberry's Midas.
Vern is an honest guy, and it's got a breath that's very minty.
Hi, I'm Vern Goldsberry, and this is my family.
Midas does a good job at a fair price, and has a nice current selection of magazines.
Car care, dental care, it's all about trust.
Vern over there at Midas, he saves me quite a bit of money. It's not like I'm a philanthropist.
Right now, Midas is offering our famous front or rear disc brake service package for the incredible price of just $99.95.
Midas Car Care, the way it should be.
When you need a sealant that's got to stick, Mono Ultra does the trick. Mono Ultra. When it calls for the best, the choice is clear. There won't be anything like it for years. Mono Ultra. It works in the sun. It works in your shower. You wash up with water and make it an hour. Exterior ceiling's a whole new drill with Mono Ultra. It cures fast, it won't shrink or crack, and it's completely paintable. Mono Ultra. Get the Mono.
Sunday, NASCAR roars into New York State for the Bud at the Glen. Last year's winner Jeff Gordon and the rest of the field challenged the road course at the Watkins Glen International. NASCAR's the Bud at the Glen gets the green flag. Sunday on TSN.
Week 6 continues in Toronto, and it's crunch time again for the Blue Bombers. Winnipeg is 0 for 5 weeks of football and desperate for a victory at Skydome tonight. Head coach Jeff Reinbold is feeling the heat in his second season in Winnipeg. His record so far, 4 wins and 19 losses.
Well, really the flip side on the other side of the field with Don Matthews, the all-time winningest coach in the CFL, 4-time coach of the year. And if you notice a little grin on his face tonight, it's because Kerwin Bell is back. He has leadership, and a club that looked shaky at the beginning of the season is trying to get to the 500 mark tonight, and he's got a great coaching staff that brings out the best in their players.
And Matthews obviously happy about a lucky win last week against the Calgary Stampeders. They'll try and get that momentum continuing here tonight. The kickoff going to Ted Long for the Blue Bombers. He's out across the 35. Broke one there. Good field position to begin for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Brought down by Wiltshire. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Midas. Car care the way it should be. Ex-Rough Rider Kevin Mason gets a chance to get the Bombers' first win of 1998. This is his 3rd game and his first start. Veteran Mike Trevathan joins Winnipeg's receiving corps for the first time. And up front, the Bombers' best lineman, Chris Perez, is bothered by a neck injury. So it'll be 1st and 10 Blue Bombers, just shy of the Winnipeg 45-yard line. Mason at the controls. Sean Millington has his first carry of the ball game, and Leaf, this is a guy they've got to get involved.
Well, I think there's a lot of guys they've got to get involved tonight, John. Sean Millington certainly is one. That's only his 28th carry, and now his 6th game. Certainly needs to touch the football more than that, but I think the key is Kevin Mason. He's got to run the football and run it early, and if they have success, at least plant that seed with the Argo defense that he's going to try and pressure the line of scrimmage. If he doesn't run, it's a mistake.
This is what Mason was trying to avoid, 2nd and long. He needs 9 yards for a first down, and fired that low and incomplete far side. Thompson was the target. And quickly the Bombers will kick it away.
You know, Chris Schultz made an interesting point in the opening of the control show that he felt like a key for Winnipeg tonight would be first down production. Well, I agree with him, and there you saw in the initial series, 2nd and long. Mason has to throw, poor throw down low, and Boy, I couldn't agree more. He's got to run the football. That's simple. He's not going to beat Toronto with, 30 completions tonight. And if he doesn't run, I tell you, Jeff Reinbold should be in his ear and tell him to get his fanny over that line of scrimmage.
Bob Cameron set to kick off for Sherman Smith, standing at the Argonaut 20-yard line. And it took a little too long to get that play called. Some discussion down there. Apparently they didn't like the football. There's a quick exchange down there. I don't know what could have been wrong with a football in a dome stadium.
The roof leaking tonight.
Might be a little leak up there.
Raining all day in Toronto here. Pretty ugly day out.
Maybe it's a little sticky. Anyway, Cameron back at his 30-yard line. Sherman Smith dropped it, and there'll be no return, and a marker goes down. Smith had his hands on the ball and then lost it. Argo quarterback Kerwin Bell finally got a chance to play and won Player of the Week honors in his Toronto debut last week. Daryl Mitchell is the key to passing success as the #1 receiver in the CFL. When the Argos run it, it will be Demtrition and Clemens, and the O-line has been a little bit better of late for the Toronto Argonauts after a slow start, particularly the first couple of weeks.
23, first down Toronto.
Now this offensive line you see on your screen right there, already 17 sacks against this group. They gave up 19 all of last year, so you think what a turnaround this is. They're tied with, strangely enough, Montreal for the worst in that department, sacks against.
The opening week was the worst against the Saskatchewan Roughriders for this Argonaut offensive line. Kerwin Bell on first down, look to the near side, and Andrew English couldn't come up with it.
John, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers obviously 0-5, but it really hasn't been the fault of the defense. This defense ranks 3rd in the league. Joe Fleming off to a great start with 4 sacks up front. You look to Greg Battle, he's given them leadership, and of course Maurice Kelly is their middle safety, came over as a free agent from the BC Lions. He has 3 interceptions. He can come up and play that zero coverage where he takes the 3rd receiver and they don't miss a beat, but a lot of pressure on this secondary because they bring a lot of people up front.
Argonauts are 2nd and 10 from the 46. Bell with time over the middle. Mitchell had it and couldn't hang on. Pretty nice pass by Bell, catchable football, and the Argos quickly kick it away.
Well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers go to an extra nickelback. Nick Ferguson comes in, and he was really breathing down the neck of Daryl Mitchell, and he could hear him coming. He takes his eyes off the ball right there. Can't make the catch, but a perfect strike by Kerwin Bell. And, on that last win over Calgary last week, it seemed like Kerwin Bell made every read to perfection. Whenever Calgary blitzed, he picked it up, and my, oh my, he was on target again, but the ball dropped.
Noel Prefontaine for the Argonauts. High and fairly deep. Eric Blount back to his 15. Nice return for Blount out across the 25 to about the 28. 49-yard punt for Prefontaine. No scoring so far at Skydome. No first downs either. It's 0-0.
Play Safeway's $1 Million Touchdown to Win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you could win $1 million if 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns in today's game. Now there's 1 million more reasons to shop at Safeway. Today's better way.
It's an idea that's been growing for quite some time. Introducing McWraps from McDonald's. They're loaded with fresh vegetables, selected cheeses, and seasoned meats, and wrapped up in warm Mediterranean soft bread, garden salad, turkey and ham club, and chicken Caesar. McWraps, a fresh new idea from McDonald's.
If you like action,
Welcome to the Johnny Bauer exhibit.
you'll love the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's fun, it's surprising, it's interactive, and now with the World of Hockey Zone, it's so much fun, you won't know what hit you.
Sometimes I like to bring it up a notch.
Welcome to the show, folks!
Really get the guys going. Hey, I'm responsible for the entire tempo of the game.
I can hear the ladies singing now!
And that's the ball game!
Cubs versus Cardinals, TSN Saturday.
Well, 2 minutes. 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 2
CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Gatorade. Is it in you? And by the new Speed Stick Ultimate Antiperspirant for tough 24-hour protection.
Kevin Mason gets his hands on the football for the second time for the Blue Bombers at Skydome. Winnipeg looking for its first win of 1998. Mason in his first start in Bomber blue and gold. The Winnipeg first down beginning at the 29-yard line. And early motion down there as a flag goes down before Mason can do anything with the ball. What do they get in Kevin Mason, the Blue Bombers, Leaf?
Well, I think they get a guy, as I said, who can pressure a defense with his running abilities. Got a strong arm. I mean, he throws the ball well, but again, they get a guy that I think is going to have to lead by example, and his best example can be to plant that seed early with the Toronto defense that he will run. The longer he waits to run, the more comfortable the Toronto defense is going to get.
After the procedure call now, Mason looking at 1st and 15. Good play action fake, and he's decked quickly. Antonius Bonner came in untouched, and Mason goes down. First sack of the night.
Well, this is what you do to a young quarterback, too. Here's Antonio Bonner, the defensive back. He's up on the line of scrimmage, and play action sure doesn't slow him down because he's only got one job, and that's to go and find the quarterback. And he does that in a hurry and a sack, and all of a sudden you got procedure. You're 1st and 15. Now you're second in a bunch, and this is not a good start.
22 yards to be exact for a Blue Bomber first down. Not the situation Mason was hoping for. Little screen pass for Millington. Millington gets a little back, and he's run down from behind by Demetrius Maxey, who is the only veteran of that Argonaut defensive front four.
Pretty easy to play defense in that situation. You rush 3 people and drop everybody off, and almost impossible to try and pick up 22 yards in case somebody misses a tackle, which they didn't.
First completion of the game, and it doesn't go for very much. As the Bombers get set to kick it away, it'll be Cameron backing up to his 11-yard line, and Sherman Smith waiting for the Argonauts back at his 39. Not deep this time. Cameron's first kick only 35 yards and no return to speak of for Sherman Smith at the 45. 40-yard punt for Cameron.
Well, Daryl Mitchell, I mean, he dropped the ball in the first series for the Argonauts, but what a year he's having. 46 catches. Those are the numbers. You know, John, I did a little work with my calculator today just to see what that might project out to, and it projects out to a staggering 166 receptions.
Yeah, okay.
2,174 yards on the season, which would be all-time world records.
All leagues, all time, everywhere if it follows, but this guy's had a terrific CFL career, and it's only his sophomore season. Here's Bell on first down, complete far side. Will be the first down of the game, and Mitchell is there to make the catch. Mitchell's had a field day against the Blue Bombers over the last few games. 5 touchdowns in 3 games against Winnipeg last year.
And the mark of a veteran quarterback, he knows that Daryl Mitchell is not going to let him down very often, but what does Kerwin Bell do? Comes right back to him, and that's good for the confidence level. I mean, Kerwin Bell's a pro. He's been around for a long time, and maybe the read took him there, but I like to think that he did that on purpose.
Shotgun, and this is Mike Clemens, and then the fake. It's a fake to Clemens. Bell sprints to his right, read well by Grant Carter, who runs him down. Good fake, but Bell, not always that mobile, was run down easily by Grant Carter, who read it perfectly.
Well, this isn't the fault of the offensive line. They sure gave Kerwin Bell a lot of time. Little fake inside. Now you see Grant Carter from his left end position. He's pursuing, and he really doesn't know what to do. He's pretty sure that Bell's not going to run with it. And finally, when he has the opportunity, he gets in for the sack. But good coverage downfield, forced that.
Second sack of the season for Grant Carter. And the Argos looking at 2nd and 13. Bell has time. Throws under the cover. Mazzetti's got it. Digs for a first down, and where they spot it might be a yard or 2 shy. Carthon up to make the tackle, number 26 for Winnipeg.
Boy, watch the end of this play. Paul Mazzotti, as Reggie Carthon comes in on the sidelines, he absolutely delivers a blow up into the helmet of Carthon and, you know, picks up a few extra yards. Watch this, the left arm. Oh! Those receivers dishing out punishment. I love it. Just the way I played, right, John?
Absolutely. I remember 71 in green and white doing that.
Sure, I was getting out of bounds as fast as I could.
That's what I was talking about, the out of bounds part there. Jay Barker is in on short yardage here because the Argonauts come within a yard of the first down. Interesting formation as they line it up there, and now spread 3 receivers to the far side. Barker hands off to Clemens. He stopped initially and may not get the first down.
No chance.
This could be a turnover thanks to Reggie Carthon, who had the second shot at pinball Clemens and made it count.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers look up front. They beat the blocks, and then Carthon will come around from behind to end up making the play. But you see, they beat the Argonauts. They got underneath the shoulder pads of the offensive line. Left guard Jude St. John, he was pushed back. The play had no chance to succeed. That is great defense. We talked, John, this defense has played well. They've just been on the field too much this year.
Too many turnovers by the Bomber offense. 28 in total. And that has forced the defense into extra duty. First down, Winnipeg. And there's no running room for Eric Blunt. Bombers felt they might be able to run effectively against this Argonaut defense with Kelly Wilshire and Marcelo Simmons, undersized linebackers in there.
Well, you know, you look at every game and what teams would like to do, and can they do it? Well, sure, you're right. Winnipeg would like to run, and strangely enough, Toronto's defense is ranked 7th in the league against the rush. So you think, well, that might work out. But so far in this game, everything that Winnipeg's tried on the ground has just been stuffed.
A couple of yards total. We still await Kevin Mason taking off himself. That was one of the ideas the Bombers had. And here's a little motion from Mason. He has a strike far side of the field and a first down. Mason connecting with Trevathan for his first catch as a Blue Bomber. So Trevathan comes back to make the catch.
Yeah, I was talking to Mike before the game. Is he ever happy to get with Winnipeg? For whatever reason, things were not right in Vancouver. He had the bad hamstrings, and now he gets to a new team. I said, it looks strange to see you in this uniform after all those years in BC, but he's glad to be back playing. He feels like he's 100%, and, well, you have to think he's going to make a contribution.
And good effort there to make sure he got the first down. Out of midfield, it is 1st and 10, Winnipeg. Blunt trying the left side, needs a block. Might have it. Good run by Eric Blunt, forced out after picking up close to 12 yards. Antonius Bonner forcing him out. So the sweep worked effectively for the Bombers thanks to Eric Blunt.
And what a terrific job by Craig Hendrickson, the left guard. Watch how he leads this play around the corner. I mean, he doesn't stop. He doesn't give up. It looks like maybe Blunt's going to outrun him. But watch Hendrickson. He stays right here. And then he gets the pin to the inside on Clifton Abraham. But what a terrific athletic job by Craig Hendrickson, the left guard.
Now at the Argonaut 43, 1st and 10, Winnipeg. 3 receivers to the far side. Mason looked to the inside. Thompson was the target. Clifton Abraham, the rookie, on the right corner, made the play for Toronto.
Well, nothing different for Toronto this year on defense. At this point in time, ranked 7th in the league in total defense after 5 weeks. And no secret, led up the middle, Mike O'Shea and Lester Smith, 36. If you're going to have a great defense, you got to be strong down the middle. And Toronto certainly has had this for the last couple of years.
Mason 2 for 4, 17 yards passing thus far. This is 2nd and 10. He may take off, or at least try to, and it's O'Shea wrestling him down. Mike O'Shea made the play on Kevin Mason, and the Blue Bomber drive will end there after a couple of nice first downs.
Sometimes the toughest thing to block is kind of a delayed blitz. Here's O'Shea here. He's going to end up coming out this way, but he doesn't come right away. He sizes up the situation. He's thinking about it, and now he says, there's nobody there to block me. I'm going to go, and that's a delayed blitz. That's his option if he gets that kind of a read, and he makes the play. And just when you thought that Winnipeg was trying to get something going, the Toronto defense, as we mentioned, 2nd in the league, stiffens up, and boy, they're not even going to try a field goal from this range.
2nd sack by the Argonauts forces Cameron to kick.
But it forces them out of a possible field goal chance.
Not a bad punt. Sherman Smith at the 7-yard line. Good special teams coverage by the Blue Bombers on all punts thus far tonight. No return there after a 41-yard kick. Still no scoring here. Kerwin Bell gets his chance when we return.
Welcome to Nanaimo, home of the bar, and Vern Goldsberry's Midas.
Vern is an honest guy, and it's got a breath that's very minty.
Hi, I'm Vern Goldsberry, and this is my family.
And Midas does a good job at a fair price and has a nice current selection of magazines.
Car care, dental care, it's all about trust.
Vern over there at Midas, he saves me quite a bit of money. It's not like I'm a philanthropist.
Right now, Midas is offering our famous front or rear disc brake service package for the incredible price of just $99.95.
Midas Car Care, the way it should be.
When you sweat, Gatorade wants you to peel it off for a chance to win. Look under specially marked Gatorade labels for your chance at over 1 million prizes. You could instantly win a Nintendo 64-game system or pro sports gear licensed by the NBA, NFL, CFL, CHA, or Major League Baseball. And if you don't win instantly, don't sweat it. Collect Gator points and redeem them for your favorite pro sports gear. Or get to a Gatorade TSN sampling zone for more ways to win. Hit tsn.ca/Gatorade for details. It's going to get hot this summer, so quench your thirst with Gatorade and peel it off for a chance to win.
Challenging.
Bonding experience.
I did it so anybody can do it. It's unbelievable. It's hard, but when you finish, it's really rewarding.
I've never seen so much spandex and lycra.
Wow.
Awesome!
It's so much fun being out here with so many people for a good cause.
You gotta do it. You gotta try it. Just do it.
Don't miss the Noranda Forest MS Bike Tours. Register now.
Argonauts and Kerwin Bell looking at 1st and 10 deep in their own zone. Bell got on 2 of 4, 23 yards thus far. And the Bombers have an interesting alignment in there with 7 defensive backs.
They put 7 defensive backs in, and it's not surprising, actually probably pretty good coaching by Jeff Reinbold. Toronto only averages about 77 yards a game on the ground rushing. So just disregard the run and put 7 DBs in and see what kind of defense you can play.
Bell goes to the shotgun, takes a shovel pass and completes one far side. Sherman Smith slips into the backfield in replace of Nigel Williams. Makes the catch, gets the first down.
Well, it's a great looking play where you fake the option, the shovel pass to Pinball Clements coming underneath, and Bell is just looking downfield with the read. I mean, if the shovel's there, he's going to take it. And if it's not, you get a receiver like Sherman Smith open, you throw to him. But terrific execution by the Argonaut offense, and where the Bombers have struggled on first down, the Argonauts have had great first down production here in this first quarter.
Buys Bell a little bit of yardage.
Well, I can't get over how calm Kerwin Bell seems to be under center.
Short of the first down, it is 2nd and 1, so Barker is in there. He faked it to the pinball and looks deep. Intercepted. Picked off by Kelly, number 24. 4th of the season for Kelly.
What a heck of a play. I mean, I think this is a great call. Why not? You got stuffed the last time. Good play action, but look at the rookie quarterback, Jay Barker. He throws it on the line. Now, if he puts a little airtime on that, Nigel Williams has a chance because he's in behind Kelly. So a young mistake by Jay Barker. If he puts airtime on, that's going to be a tough play for Kelly to make, but give Kelly credit. I mean, that's his 4th pick. This guy is around the football.
So Jay Barker throws up the first interception.
I think you saw coaches say to him, airtime.
Yeah, get it up a little bit.
Airtime.
Williams is fast, but Kelly made the play. This is Eric Blunt trying the other side this time. Good for about 4 yards. Nice first down run by Blunt earlier. Wrapped up by Bonner that time. He is the all-purpose leader in yards, 977 coming into the game.
Well, I've always been a big fan of his since he broke into the league with Edmonton in such a flurry. I think he had over 1,000 yards in a very abbreviated season his first year in Edmonton. And, you know, sometimes every player needs a bit of a change, and that was the case for Eric Blunt.
Gain was only 3. This is 2nd and 7. Mason found Mihalik. I think he was looking for Millington, but he found number 66, Mike Mihalik.
Mike says, what are you doing? I can't catch.
And he proved it.
You throw it to another guy. Here's Mihalik. He's 66. There he is right there. What? Watch this, right in the head.
Bellington, I think, was the target. At least he was eligible.
You know, John, I mean, I don't want to be a broken record here, but we have like 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Kevin Mason is yet to run the football once.
Sprinted out a couple of times.
And if he sprints out like that on 2nd and 6, you know, he's got to do it. The longer he waits, I mean, Joe Powell, they've got to have a chat with him because his greatest strength will be running, not throwing.
Knuckleball field goal try that's good by Troy Westwood. So a long, low kick, but high enough to clear the uprights. Or to clear the crossbar and split the uprights. Westwood has the Bombers on the board. It's 3-0.
Welcome to Nanaimo, home of the bar, and Vern Goldsberry's Midas.
Vern is an honest guy, and it's got a breath that's very minty.
Hi, I'm Vern Goldsberry, and this is my family.
And Midas does a good job at a fair price and has a nice current selection of magazines.
Car care, dental care, it's all about trust.
Vern over there at Midas, he saves me quite a bit of money. It's not like I'm a philanthropist.
Right now, Midas is offering our famous front or rear disc brake service package for the incredible price of just $99.95.
Midas Car Care, the way it should be.
Black lightning, so frightening. Lightning got a hex on me.
Black lightning.
Hypnotize, electrifies. Lightning got a hex on me.
New black lightning. Give your thirst the heebie-jeebies.
TSN Sports Updates, straight from the TSN newsroom to your radio. All the news and scores from the world of sports. TSN Sports Updates. Catch the signal on TSN Sports Radio.
Troy Westwood's 52-yard field goal has the Bombers on top by 3 points at Skydome. 4 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
Troy Westwood, 9 of 12 already this year. You look at bright spots on an 0-5 team. Certainly his play has been solid.
And a lot of other field goal kickers in the league have really been struggling.
Boy,
4 of them, McLaughlin, Baker, Pasaglia, Prefontaine, all hitting on less than 50%.
I think Prefontaine's, though, is a little misleading because he's tried some awfully long kicks outside of 50.
Watch the dribble!
Ready for Westwood's kickoff after the three-pointer. Interesting formation finally takes shape. Westwood keeps it low. Sherman Smith across the 25. Nice return. He's out to the 35, 36-yard line. Let's bring in David Amber at the Bomber bench.
Yeah, thanks, John. Basically, the story is right now Joe Powell is talking to Kevin Mason, and he's telling him, like you're saying, you can't get into these second and long situations. You're not giving the offense a chance. You're depending too much on the defense. So right now they're going to try and get him. I think, like you're saying, run the ball a bit more and see what happens there.
Well, they've got nothing to lose by trying it, really.
Would be a good idea.
Kerwin Bell has struggled so far in the opening quarter for the Argonauts. First down. He has Mitchell again. That'll be a first down out at the 50-yard line. Elberg is in and was in on the tackle. So Elberg moving into a safety spot. That means Maurice Kelly moves up into a linebacker's role, or Elberg comes in as a 7th DB.
Yeah, they're throwing 7 DBs right now. You watch Brad Elberg. He's going to come into your screen. I mean, he is a trained killer back there. He has one thing on his mind when a receiver catches it in his territory. I mean, he wants to inflict some pain, and he is learning on the job training as a former running back.
On first down, Bell fakes it to pinball. And then look for Smith, who took a big hit from Carthon. A couple from Carthon so far tonight. Smith couldn't hang on. So Bell is good on 4 of 7 so far.
And the Bomber defense that Jeff Reinbold is in charge of has done a nice job here in this first quarter because, you know, they've said, hey, we know you don't like to run very much, so we're going to put these 7 defensive backs in. We're going to get great coverage, and we're going to see if you can beat us with that. And so far, Kerwin Bell only 4 of 7 and not a great deal of yardage. So the Bombers game plan is working.
Winnipeg has the lead only by 3, however. 2nd and 10 for Bell and the Argonauts. Bell buys a little extra time, though it takes out. Got away from one tackle and then took a pretty good hit down there, coming up short of the first down. Joe Fleming had an opportunity and missed in the backfield. But Bell takes off and comes up short.
Well, you're going to see it's only a 3-man rush. They fake everybody coming, but Wesley Leasty drops out, and you know, you're putting 9 people back in coverage, and Bell just can't find anybody. I mean, this is a Toronto team that likes to run those short to intermediate routes, and you got 9 people in that 10 to 15-yard area. It's going to be tough for Bell, and I think they better make some adjustments with John Jenkins, their offensive coordinator, in a hurry, because somehow they're going to have to try to take advantage of 7 defensive backs in the game and maybe try to run the ball a little more.
Noel Prefontaine is in to kick it away for the Argonauts. Standing near his 42. Another deep one. Eric Blunt moves up to make the return. Reversing his field. It didn't work. Blunt grounded by O'Shea. Little or no gain on the return.
Well, when you're a guy covering punts for Noel Prefontaine, you have to love him. He averages almost 49 yards a punt, but what he does equally as well is get tremendous hang time. I watched him in the warm-up, and you know, Mike O'Shea coming down working as hard as ever. I can't believe how hard he works the special teams, but you know, Prefontaine is a terrific punter to go down and cover kicks for, because you know you're going to get down there with a lot of hang time.
First down, Blue Bombers. Beginning this drive at the Winnipeg 12-yard line. Thompson to the near side. Kevin Mason. Good fake for Blunt, and he had Thompson. Couldn't hang on. Tight coverage by Clifton Abraham, number 3. Thompson had an opportunity to make the catch, however.
As you're going to see this replay, and it's a good play action fake to get Mason outside. Now, you be the judge. Could he have? No, he couldn't have made a run there. Wiltshire was in perfect position. He had to throw the football, but watch a good push off here by Thompson. He still can't make the play. Here's the push right there. Just enough to get a little separation, but the ball behind him, he just couldn't squeeze it.
Would have been a great catch. 2nd and 10. Winnipeg from the 12. Thompson makes the catch and has the first down this time. Same coverage. Clifton Abraham forced him out.
Well, these are pretty easy reads. Toronto's coming with a lot of blitzes in this first quarter. Kelly Wiltshire was coming again, and you get 1-on-1 outside with the rookie Clifton Abraham, and same route by Thompson, different formation and different type of action, but that time he's able to make the catch.
16 catches, 244 yards for Thompson coming into this one. Key first down for Winnipeg. Millington rounding it up the middle and ran into Todrick McIntosh, one of the newcomers to that Argonaut front 4.
The old Argamos.
Argamos, yes. Tremaine Haley, McIntosh side by side. Maxey is the veteran up there, and Maurice Miller over from Edmonton.
Yeah,
is the 4th member of the group.
You make a good point. I mean, that is 3 newcomers up front, and the Argonauts only have 3 interceptions, and I'm wondering if it's a direct reflection on the pressure that they're getting up front. The 2 usually kind of go hand in hand.
I think that's a good point. This is 2nd down and long. Mason can't find a target. Maxey in pursuit. Mason running and throwing and put it into the dirt. Trevathan had an opportunity to make the catch. Was there real estate out there for Mason or not, Leaf?
Well, there might have been. I don't know. He had Demetrius Maxey breathing down his neck. Watch Maxey initially inside, and then he's got great wheels to get to the outside and really, for all intents and purposes, put some pressure on Mason. I mean, it looked as though Mason was going to get out easily, but Maxey just did enough to string the play out and give his defense time to get back and react to the receiver they were recovering.
Argonauts kick it away again on possessions thus far tonight. A punt, a couple of turnovers, and another punt. So the Argos have not moved the football effectively. Sherman Smith lost the ball. The Argonauts get it back, I do believe, but Smith fumbled after about a 5-yard return on a 43-yard Bob Cameron punt. Bonner was there to recover it and save the Argos bacon there. So enter Kerwin Bell again.
Well, we'll see if they made some adjustments on the sidelines. The Winnipeg game plan has been very straightforward, and Toronto's had a couple of series to see it. Again, Winnipeg is coming in with 7 defensive backs, and, you know, they're just saying, hey, you guys can beat us running, you know, so be it. There's John Jenkins in the booth, and I'm sure he's had some communication. And We'll see if they've been able to change anything.
Bell goes to the shotgun. He won't get it away. He does, actually. He was wrapped up. Brad Elberg was there, and then Bell fought him off and did finally throw the football, but it didn't cross the line of scrimmage, and a marker goes down. So Bell limping slightly after taking a couple of hits on one play.
I'll give Winnipeg credit. They've thrown a lot of different looks at Kerwin Bell in one quarter with their 7 DBs. Now they bring Elberg up on the line of scrimmage and blitz him instead of last time they were 9 back, 3 rush, and that's good. Keep them guessing.
There's no infraction on the play. Second down.
Flag dropped in error. On the final play of the opening quarter, the Blue Bombers have a 3-0 lead on the Toronto Argonauts as we send you to CFL Control for some thoughts from the guys on the football pen.
You're watching CFL Live, and we're at the quarter. Here's your host, James Duthie.
All right, welcome back to CFL Live. You know, one of the trends in the CFL this year has been that scoring has been down. The defenses have often been dominant, and that is the case tonight. A 3-0 game after 1 quarter of play. And, you know, our key play of the first quarter is a defensive play. Jay Barker with a play-action fake. Looks like he's got a guy, but Chris, Mo says no.
Well, I really like this from Winnipeg. I think we talked earlier about the discrepancy in turnovers with the advantage towards the opponents of Winnipeg. The best thing about this play is he really laid out parallel to the line of scrimmage. Great individual play by Maurice Kelly.
Well, turnovers are going to be the key for Winnipeg to win this game, I think. But, you know, the reality on that play, Chris, was that Toronto got the matchup they wanted. Nigel Williams was deep. They had an opportunity for a big play, and Jay Parker just didn't make a good throw.
Chris, quick comment on Kevin Mason.
Yeah. I really was disappointed early, and I almost got worried that they weren't going to play to his strengths. But you saw as the second quarter progressed, they did a great job of putting him in open space. That's where Kevin Mason's at his best, James.
All right, now there is one other game tonight in the CFL. Let's get you to that score. It's a close one in Montreal. Montreal leading BC 11-10 is the score. Anthony Cavillo is in quarterbacking in place of the injured Tracy Ham tonight for the Alouettes. Jim Sandusky has a TD for BC, and Chris Armstrong, newly acquired Chris Armstrong, has one for the Owls. Now let's get you back to Skydome for second quarter action of our game. Here's Leaf and John.
All right, guys, Blue Bombers have the lead, but not by much. The Argonauts have struggled offensively, and Kerwin Bell has not been able to move the football team. The numbers thus far. And here's how they look so far.
There they are.
Yeah, I was waiting a little slow at the switch there. First downs. Blue Bombers 3 compared to 2 for the Argonauts. Rushing totals a little better for Winnipeg, I would guess, in some ways, but 20 yards is really...
No, it's not earth-shattering. I mean, they have tried to establish that the 2 turnovers. Toronto gave it up on downs, and then, of course, the Jay Parker interception that our studio crew talked about.
Second and 10, Toronto at the 43. Bell is in trouble, got it away to pinball, and Mike Clemens turns it into a first down across midfield and inside Winnipeg territory. Biggest play of the night for the Argonauts. Battle finally put the stop on pinball, not easily, and leave it to pinball to get the Argonauts moving at least a little bit.
Well, there's pinball right there, and you watch when Kerwin Bell gets in trouble, he says, heck, I'm not the runner on this team, and although I could maybe get a few yards, I know somebody can do it a lot faster and a lot better, and his name is Pinball. That's a pretty good gain out of a play that looked like it was going nowhere.
Really did. It'll be first down. Argonauts at the 50. Clemens again. And Carter had him wrapped up after a couple of yards.
One thing different about Pinball this year, he's still catching the ball at the same type of pace that he did a year ago. But last year he only averaged about 8.9 yards a catch. This year he's up a little over 12 yards a catch after that last reception. And you know, that's one little thing in his game. He's had to get more downfield production and pick up some of the slack in losing Robert Drummond.
About 198 yards rushing for Clemens thus far this season. On second down, far side. He's the target again, and Pinball can't bring that one down.
Well, the difference in this game tonight for Toronto is they've had success last week working against the linebackers and just the normal defensive backs, but you get Pinball. He's matched up this time on Reggie Carthon, a true defensive back, and, you know, it's not the mismatch that you try and get normally. So, you know, Bell had to try to throw that low and away only where Clemens could get it, but this is a little different defense that Toronto's having to work against. A lot more speed in that Winnipeg defense tonight that Toronto played against the last few weeks.
And that'll make for an interesting matchup, the way the Argonauts line things up and like to spread it out.
Well, it will, and it's good coaching on Winnipeg's part to say, hey, this team doesn't run, so let's adjust our defensive game plan to try and give them more problems, which they certainly are.
No, Prefontaine. High again, and fairly deep as Blunt has no play on it at the 1-yard line. Will wisely give up a single point. I'm not so sure he didn't lose that somehow. On its height, coming out of the lights, but the Argonauts hit the board. It's 3-1 Winnipeg on CFL Live.
Play Safeway's $1 Million Touchdown to Win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you have won the Minolta Dimage digital still camera with built-in flash, 1.8-inch color LCD monitor, and 64-image storage. A great way to break into the world of digital photography. Dimage from Minolta. It's great fun. Or a set of Revere Pro Line cookware from Corning. Designed for durability and a lifetime of use. Retains moisture, flavor, and nutrients while cooking. Corningware, a balance of practicality and performance. Enter your ballot at your local Safeway Food and Drug today.
Right now, get 20 Timbits for $1.99. And you might win one of 50 family vacations to any of 20 Attractions Canada destinations in the Timbits Family Getaways Contest. The amazing $1.99 Timbits snack pack. Get a snack pack and get away.
Check out the lineup. It's called Big Time Sports, all summer long on TSN.
Well, in the middle of that circle is the head coach of the Blue Bombers, Jeff Reinbold. You have to feel for Jeff. I mean, this is his team. He's made his changes. He's 0-5, and he hasn't had the production, and he knows the heat is on, and he talked about what it's like right now.
We got such great fans in Winnipeg, and we've got such great people on our football team, and that everybody's frustrated with the fact that we haven't had success yet. That gnaws at me. That bothers me a great deal. In terms of, you know, fearing for your professional career, no. I'll be a football coach 2 more days, 2 more weeks, 2 more months, 20 more years, I don't know, but I'll be a man till the day I die, and I think that's what's most important to me, and that I handle myself and these players with the way I would want to be handled.
Reinbold getting a little bit of a break there, with Kevin Mason finally taking off and doing what we expected him to do a little bit more of so far this football game.
Wow,
20-yard gain there. That's what they were looking for.
Yeah, this is more like it here. Watch this. The fake influence is down here. And, of course, he's got lots of room to run. See, everybody, Todrick McIntosh, he's dead right now. Now there's all kinds of room. I mean, this is something that, you know, obviously I felt they should have been doing from the beginning. That is easy run, and he picks up serious yardage.
20 yards for a first down right at midfield for the Bombers, leading 3-1. Lots of time to go in the opening half. Mason will put it up. He's on target for another first down, as Long makes the catch and picks up better than a first down, about 16 yards.
And Ted Long really playing in a more normal position for him. He started the year at wide receiver, now moved into slot back, and you know, that's the position he's more used to, originally a running back, but I felt like they were really misusing his talents when he was as a wide receiver, much better at coming across the middle. He doesn't mind the traffic, although he's not a big guy, but all of a sudden now the Blue Bombers back-to-back first downs, and they've got something going. Pow saying,
that's
see?
it.
Play action and run it. I told you it would work.
It's an easy game.
I told you it would work. Gary Hoffman to Pow's left. offensive line coach, and Harry Justvig, who has joined the staff, former coach for the Ottawa Rough Riders, works with the quarterbacks, special teams.
When you look at Mason coming into this football game, he really has limited knowledge of the complete Winnipeg offense, according to Pow Pow and everybody who's been schooling him in a quick bunch of classes since he joined the Bombers 3 weeks ago. So he doesn't have all the options available to him.
You know what, John? I really don't see that as a detriment, because I think with a quarterback like Kevin Mason, you would go in with a much abbreviated short list for your game plan anyway.
Well, I
think
agree with that, certainly.
Sprint out, roll out, the bootlegs, and I think a limited offense with him is not a bad thing anyway, even if he's been there for quite a while.
Well, that's what they were saying yesterday, possibly offering it up as a bit of an excuse if this didn't work out. And, well, we've got a long way to go this football evening in Skydome. But Mason has done well last couple of plays, no question. Until then, looked like he took a little too long getting it into play, but then again, there might have been movement there. 4 seconds on the clock. On the 20-second clock here, so we'll wait for the official.
League of procedure. Winnipeg, number 62. Still first down.
It's the left tackle, Chris Perez, obviously moving early then. So it'll be 1st and 15. Perez really wanted to play in this football game after being an Argonaut when he first arrived in Canada to play in the CFL. Bothered by a neck injury, though, in the last little while. Good play action fake, but here comes the heat now. Mason avoids the first wave from Maxey, takes out, and grabs about 4 yards.
Boy, Toronto's getting some really good push up the middle from Demetrius Maxey in this game. Here he is, the second guy in, and just follow him. I mean, he is relentless working against Mike Mihalik, and watch, he pushes. I mean, that is just sheer upper body strength, but he has had himself a heck of a first half. Doesn't have a lot to show for it, but certainly in the eyes of the coaches, when they watch the film tomorrow, they'll appreciate the effort that he's put into this first half.
Actually, only a gain of a couple. This will be 2nd and 13 for the Blue Bombers now. 4 receivers near side, and Millington gets the call on a drop play. It's very close to a first down when Millington is finally dragged down by Bonner, Antonius Bonner.
And this is a scary, I've always felt what a scary situation for a defensive back when Sean Millington takes it on a draw and gets into the open field. Great block on Mike O'Shea by Craig Hendrickson, and now the terror starts. I mean, look how low they go. You can't hit him high. I mean, he's 230 pounds, outweighs every defensive back that he'll play against, but a great block up front by Craig Hendrickson. That's the second one he's had, showing some tremendous speed and athletic ability for him tonight. But nice play on 2nd and long, and they're close.
And George Nemeko moves into that secondary to fill in for Lester Smith, who was shaken up a little bit. So we'll see if Mason has spotted that. On 3rd down, it's
I don't know.
Mason himself, and it's going to be very close. Wilshire has already had a whale of a football game.
Boy, it was close. Again, as the Winnipeg defensive line did to Toronto earlier, the Toronto front four gets really underneath, and there's no place for Mason to go. I think he picked it up, and yes, he did.
He had enough forward progress there, but he retreated a little bit, and that's when it looked like he might not have had the first down. However, he didn't make it by much. Either way you look at it on the replay. Mason looking at 1st and 10 at the Argonaut 27. Winnipeg leading 3-1. Good fake to Millington, and Mason takes out. Set up with a great fake, and there's a marker down. O'Shea wrapped him up.
Well, they're going to get Ted Long for holding, and this play will come back. You know, you have to appreciate the effort he made in trying to make a block to spring his quarterback for a few extra yards, but he is going to get the penalty.
Holding. Winnipeg number 8. Still first down.
Holding against Ted Long. Upon further review, it looks like the correct call.
Yeah,
I'd say.
I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess my feeling after all these years is I don't like to see these drives stalled by something like that. So I wish they'd look the other way sometimes.
Sometimes when it didn't have that big an effect on the play.
Well, Winnipeg league leader in penalties. They see they have 4. Toronto's yet to have their first one tonight.
1st and 20. Long on the far side. Wrapped up by Clifton Abraham. Rookie out of Florida State who's really been pretty solid on that corner, hasn't he?
They've gone after him a couple of times tonight with Larry Thompson. Thompson's caught 1 pass on it, but Abraham is so fast. Here he is. Watch how quickly he reads this, beats the block. Here comes the block of Millington. He gets underneath it with speed, wraps up and makes a tackle. That's a heck of a play. I mean, you know, that quick screen to the receiver is only as successful as the block at the point of attack, and they didn't get it.
So this is second and a whole bunch. Mason looks to put it up, won't get it away. Lost the football, and the Bombers are lucky to get it back as Christopher Perez jumped on the loose ball. Mason hit from behind, and Perez saved the day.
Well, here's Todrick McIntosh, and this is nothing fancy, just outside on Chris Perez. Chris Perez is not at 100% tonight, and the speed of McIntosh, he just blows by Perez, and you know, lucky that he was able to make the recovery, but he's not at 100%, and that time McIntosh just blew by him.
Bob Cameron trying to get enough troops on the field, and with all the changes the Bombers have had to make, Jermaine Haley looked to be a little late arriving for the huddle, and that scares the heck out of a kicker when he knows he's a guy short out there, doesn't it?
Well, you let the clock run down is what you do.
Mike Clemens waiting for his first return of the ball game. Beginning at the 6. Couple of moves. But after a 43-yard punt, there's not much running room for Clemens. Kerwin Bell back on the field when we return to CFL Live.
Hope you're enjoying the football game here on TSN. Back to Sky Dome in a moment. Right now, some hockey news. The Mighty Ducks of Anaheim have fired their vice president and general manager, Jack Ferreira. His replacement will be none other than team president Pierre Gauthier. Remember about a month ago, Gauthier insisted he was definitely not going to Anaheim to take a job in hockey and definitely not going there to take someone else's job.
I'm not going to Anaheim. Not to work for the Mighty Ducks. I do not have the right to steal anybody's job. And I wouldn't do it to anybody, and certainly not to Jack Ferreira.
Well, I guess a lot has changed inside the last month. Ferreira was the only general manager the Mighty Ducks had ever had. As a matter of fact, he led them to an NHL record for most victories by a first-year franchise with 33 back in the 93-94 season. But last season, just 26 victories. So they make a change. Pierre Gauthier, the new man in charge. Back to Sky Dome right after this quick break.
Get yourself race ready with the Fram Speed Zone Saturday right here on TSN.
CFL Live on TSN is brought to you in part by Midas Car Care, the way it should be.
Welcome back to Sky Dome. It's Go Bombers Go night here because the Bombers haven't gone anywhere so far this season. Camorri Open Men's International Tennis Tournament continues on TSN tomorrow. Hopefully the rain will let up at the York University Tennis Center.
Great draw. Pete Sampras wasn't going to play, and he decided after having foot surgery that he needed this tournament to tune up for the U.S. Open, which runs over Labor Day weekend. And
nice lid there, Leaf. I hate to interrupt you, but that is a pretty interesting.
I think that's permanent. I think that is permanent. It doesn't.
I don't know how
it doesn't come on.
Mitchell takes a quick swing pass and turns it into a nice game, then lost the ball. Bombers are all around it, and they say they've got it. Blue Bombers, Maurice Kelly coming up with a football. Huge turnover for the Bombers. Mitchell made the play, was close to a first down. Maurice Kelly makes the play for Winnipeg.
Well, when you get a team backed up as a defense, you always like to think turnover and put your offense in a good spot. And Daryl Mitchell, he just coughs up the football. I mean, that wasn't a real bone-jarring tackle by Maurice Lawler, but he stripped the ball loose. Kelly recovers, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, rather, who've been plagued by turnovers, have Toronto coughing it up. That's their third of the night. Winnipeg yet to give up a turnover.
You might have spoken too quickly here. The Bombers have a tendency to turn it over a time or two, leading the league with 28 turnovers. But right now, Mason has an opportunity onto the cover. Eric one. Nice yardage there, forced out by Wilshire. Really having a whale of a ball game for the Argonauts.
Wilshire, you know, again, a former defensive back, now playing linebacker, leads the club in tackles, has a couple of sacks and interception. And the thing that I like about the Toronto defense when you watch them, they are so disciplined. I mean, they don't get fooled by a lot of play action. They did on the one where Todrick McIntosh did, but Wilshire hung tough on the play action, just waited for Eric Blunt to come into his zone, and they are a really disciplined defense.
Making a gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Mason puts it up, looking to the corner, had a target. McLennan was open out there. He slipped making his cut and couldn't catch up to the football, but he made a pretty good move and then just couldn't control his feet. So the Bombers will have to settle for an attempt at 3 here.
Well, you love to take advantage of a turnover in the red zone with a touchdown. I mean, obviously Winnipeg, with their troubles this year, will settle for any kind of points, but boy, you know, offensively they really want to come away with a touchdown. You're not going to get that many opportunities against the defenses ranked second in the league to score touchdowns, and that was clearly one of the good opportunities that they're going to have tonight.
Westwood is wide on this one, way wide. So the Bombers come away with a single point. It should have been more, folks. 4-1 Winnipeg and CFL Live.
Play Safeway's $1 million touchdown to win, and you could win $1 million or a 27-inch Zenith color television. A business navigator personal organizer from Casio, the Minolta Dimage Pit digital camera, Corning's Revere Pro Line cookware, or win a vacation trip for 2 to the Vias Vallarta Hotel via Air Transat, courtesy of World of Vacations, Canada's #1 tour operator to the sun. Look for Purex bathroom tissue, Yoplait yogurt, or Yop yogurt drink. Now there's a million more reasons to shop at Safeway, today's better way.
Welcome to Nanaimo, home of the bar, and Vern Goldsberry's Midas.
Vern is an honest guy, and it's got a breath that's very minty.
Hi, I'm Vern Goldsberry, and this is my family.
And Midas does a good job at a fair price and has a nice current selection of magazines.
Car care, dental care, it's all about trust.
Vern over there at Midas, he saves me quite a bit of money. It's not like I'm a philanthropist.
Right now, Midas is offering our famous front or rear disc brake service package for the incredible price of just $99.95.
Midas Car Care, it's the way it should be.
The X Games continue with alternative sports action and extreme satisfaction. Catch the 98 X Games from San Diego, late night Saturday on TSN.
This is where love means nothing. Everyone's a number. Lines are at fault. Silence is painfully loud. Du Maurier Open Tennis continues Friday. TSN.
Troy Westwood, the loneliest man in the Skydome right now after missing a chip shot field goal from 21 yards. He hit from 52 earlier.
How do you figure? You know, he got a great hold. It wasn't the problem, and I think that's what's going through his mind right now. How can I make from 52 and miss from 21? It's not logical.
So the Argos get away with a turnover that didn't cost them as much as it might have. And on first down, there's another conversion out near the 50-yard line. Nigel Williams makes the catch. Kerwin Bell right on the money. And the Argonauts march out to midfield.
One of the few times tonight that the Argonauts have seen a true zone from the Winnipeg defense, and Nigel Williams just sits down once he gets downfield. He's the third receiver, outside receiver in, finds a huge hole, and Kerwin Bell, one of the better balls that he has delivered tonight.
15-yard gain for the Argonauts, set up now at the 50-yard line. First down. Toronto trailing by 3. Here's the heat on Bell. He got it away. And a marker down on the other side. The pressure came from Kelly. The target was Mazzotti, and that's the area in which the flag was dropped, near Mazzotti.
Offside, Winnipeg, number 24. First down repeated.
Well, that's why he was able to get there so quickly. He got a little jump. Looked like he came, and he's coming from right up in that area. Yep, he just anticipated and jumped it just a touch. Kerwin Bell kind of wishes he hadn't. He took a pretty good shot there.
Maurice Kelly got there. It'll be 1st and 5 for the Argonauts, right on midfield now. At the 55-yard line, 5:37 to go. In the opening quarter, slight delay to Clemens. Those feet moving. And if they buy into where Mike Clemens spotted the football, it's very close to a first down. They may not give him all of what he was trying to claim there.
Maurice Kelly was the first man to hit Clemens, and he really had to get low to try and go helmet to helmet. When Mike Clemens decides to get under his shoulder pads and try and drive, you see how low he really does get, and Kelly wanted to meet him helmet to helmet, and he had to get down about a foot off the ground.
Well, Clemens picks up 9 yards running under the opposition. So the Argonauts line up for 2nd and 1, trying to cross the Blue Bomber 50-yard line.
Big thing with Toronto this year that's different is they don't have the big back like Robert Drummond, a 220-pounder. They just don't have that guy anymore.
Clemens out of the backfield, and he should have the first down. Battle was there first, number 34. 7 tackles last week for Battle against the BC Lions, and this guy's been around the league a long time. Enough for the first down for Mike Clemens. The Bombers have 4 points thus far. The Argonauts just won all 4 Winnipeg points off turnovers. Argonauts moving into their best field position of the ball game right now, near the 50 of Winnipeg. Kerwin Bell has 4 receivers to the far side and hands off to Clemens, who grabs 3, maybe 4 yards.
Well, I think Toronto's at this point now recognized what they want to try and do a little more on offense, and that is to attack the 7 defensive back system by the run. They just can't get it done right now. They know what they want to do. They just can't do it. John Jenkins, to his credit, he recognized it quickly, and he knows what to do. It's just they don't have the horses right now in the running game to get it done.
Here's Kerwin Bell on 2nd and long. Mitchell dropped it. That's the 2nd time that one has escaped Darryl Mitchell tonight. Made up for it after the first one with a couple of nice catches, but this one was certainly a catchable ball.
And for the most time tonight, the Argo offensive line, which has struggled somewhat in protecting the quarterback, has given Bell lots of time to throw. Now, that was a little behind Darryl Mitchell, but when you're the leading receiver in the league, you make catches like, yeah, you sure do.
And Ferguson had an opportunity after that to scrape it up before it hit the turf and just missed with the interception. So here's Prefontaine back at his 45, 3:41 to go.
Watch the hang time he's going to have on this punt. I mean, he's not trying to go for average here. He's going to go for some serious hang time.
Oh, that's almost in the rafters. Ted Long chased back to the 1. Whoop. In the end zone and out again to about the 4-yard line. Stumbled on the return and retreated across the goal line before regaining his balance.
And that is such a good kick because Ted Long knows that there is such serious hang time on this. This thing could bounce straight back up and not go in for a single. So he's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place as to what to do. And, he chooses to field it. And now his team is in a huge hole. And it's because of Noel Prefontaine's terrific punting ability.
Matthews says Prefontaine could be the best two-way kicker in the Canadian Football League before he's done.
Well, I sure don't disagree with that because he's got a tremendously strong leg, and he's just had some bad luck, and Don Matthews has put him in some situations where he's had to try and make long field goals, and he might not have done that if the team was doing better offensively, but they just weren't scoring any points, and Matthews had no choice but to do it.
Well, Prefontaine has the Bombers pinned at the 5-yard line. Eric Blunt slashing out behind left tackle for a couple. Kevin Mason at the controls for the Blue Bombers, making his first start as a member of the Winnipeg team. He started, or he played a couple of games for Winnipeg earlier, but Gets his first opportunity to run the team and is hitting on 50% of his passes right now. No big errors so far for Mason, who calls a timeout here. Actually, we're heading to the 3-minute warning. So Mason chats it over with the offensive coordinator, Joe Powell. It's 4-1 Winnipeg, and this is CFL Live.
There's an easier way to make pancakes. Introducing new Eggo pancakes. They're light and fluffy, like homemade. Only you make them in your toaster in just 90 seconds. Flat.
Get yourself race ready with the Fram Speed Zone Saturday, right here on TSN.
One of the Argonaut fans staying warm on a sticky night in Toronto. I imagine those foamy helmets would be a little hot.
It is warm in here, boy. Players talk about the airflow in this stadium or lack of it. And on a humid night outside, it's even worse inside.
2nd and 7 as Mason drops back. His target is turned around. Spencer McLennan was in the area, but Trevathan might have been the target.
Well, Mike Trevathan was the target, and he's tripped. He just couldn't stay upright, and the play had no chance.
In his first game as a Blue Bomber, 46 career touchdowns as a member of the BC Lions.
Well, it's tough for him. He wants to make an impact with a new club. He wants to make BC feel like they made a mistake and giving up on him. And I guess he's probably a little bitter about that. And, he sure had a terrific career. I love watching this guy play. You talk about fearless over the middle. What does he have those credentials?
Very tough inside receiver. Bombers forced to kick it away from the end zone, and Cameron decides it's better to give up some points here.
Interesting call. I mean, it's early in the game, and your defense has played well. Toronto's only got 1 point, and it's not like they're shoving the ball down Winnipeg's throat or anything, but, maybe Jeff Reinbold feels like, hey, it's close to halftime. Let's give up the deuce, kick it out of danger, and maybe keep away from going into halftime with a bad feeling.
Any kind of return there, and the Argonauts are in definite position to move the football, and Kerwin Bell is definitely due to get hot here.
Yeah. No, I sure see the logic in the call. Sometimes when your defense is playing really well, I sometimes, wouldn't mind leaving it on their shoulders as well, but 2 points is not the end of the world.
So it's a 4-3 ball game. Blue Bombers on top. They should be leading by more. Westwood missed a short field goal.
And Toronto chooses to scrimmage on their own 35. So that turns out that's pretty good play, I think.
He really ends up putting the onus on his defense anyway. Here's Bell's numbers thus far. Last week, 377 yards, so he's going to have to go some to catch up to a great total he put on the board last week. Bell, shotgun. Hands off to Clemens. They've run this play well lately. Clemens still on his feet, turns the corner, and somehow got through a maze of players. Far side of the field, there's a marker down. But what a nice run by Mike Clemens for 18 yards if it stands.
Boy, Grant Carter, who's one of the better tacklers in the league, had him right in his sights. Just couldn't hang on.
Winnipeg, 29, decline.
Argos will take the 18.
Well, Grant Carter, one of the better tacklers. Here he is at the top. Just follow him to the football, and he has Clemens great, but Clemens is just so elusive. Watch, he lifts his feet right there and gets away, and Carter can't hang on, and that was just a beautiful run.
It really was. Got outside Hamilton as well. This will be first down, Toronto. Bell throwing on the run, far side. Mitchell made the catch. Took a big hit immediately by Nick Ferguson.
And that is a neat play when it works and you catch it on the run with all that forward momentum. But when you don't get the block downfield, my oh my, your receiver is very vulnerable to a pretty good hit. And, you know, here's Clements out here. He's going to get it. Here comes Ferguson. And watch this. I mean, this is a free shot. Here he comes. He's zeroed in. Kaboom. Daryl Mitchell, rather. I thought it was Clements.
Well, Daryl Mitchell made the catch and lost about 4 yards. Kerwin Bell standing in. And it's picked off. So long. Reggie all the way.
Goodbye.
Reggie Carthon. 54 yards for the interception. Touchdown return by Reggie Carthon.
You could see that coming. Bell waited. He had Clemens on the sidelines just hanging out there, and Carthon was just begging him to throw it because he knew he had enough time to make the reaction. Watch this throw. It just kind of hangs there, and you could see that one coming, and the only question would be, could he beat the quarterback into the end zone?
Fourth turnover by the Argonauts. Carthon goes a long way for the touchdown.
Well, give credit to Jeff Reinbold and his defensive game plan, because this 7 defensive back system has really put a monkey wrench into that Toronto offense tonight.
4 turnovers by the Argos, and it's not comfortable for Bell on the sidelines. Talking to the head coach there.
And you know what's bad about this too is, you know, other teams are going to watch this film tonight, and everybody always says, well, you know, how do you defense Toronto? Well, there's going to be a lot of teams in the CFL that are going to get a look at what Winnipeg is doing to Toronto tonight, and maybe going to put that into their game plan when they play the Argonauts. And of course, you know, we mentioned in the pregame show that this is the first of 5 straight games against Eastern Conference opponents for the Argonauts. Reinbold's put a good game plan together.
54-yard interception has Reinbold and the Bombers on top, 11-3. 2:01 to go till halftime. And Reggie Carthon, his second interception of the season. This one goes for 54 yards in the touchdown, and it gives the Bombers a little breathing room. So what went wrong, Kerwin?
Well, I think Kerwin needed to just throw that one away. He really didn't have anything. He tried to manufacture something, and sometimes when you're struggling on offense, you do that. Try to manufacture something, and it just gets worse and worse. And I know John Jenkins was probably watching that play develop and just saying, no, don't throw it there.
Don't go there.
Don't go there, because from up here where we have such a great perspective, you know, you can see it developing, and that was going to be an interception all the way.
So the Bombers pad their lead. It's been close all night long, and the Argonauts will have some time to get that one back. This is Williams. Nigel Williams forced out by Matt DeBuck. It says he's 5'8" on the scorecard here, but I don't believe he's quite that tall. Do you?
I think Matt DeBuck.
Not Williams, DeBuck.
If DeBuck had a noose around his neck, he might get hanging from a tree. He might get to 5'8", but he's no more than 5'6".
8 of 14, 81 yards, and the interception that went all the way for a 54-yard touchdoon. So Kerwin Bell is not having a night like he had in his Argo debut last week. On the shotgun, far side. He has Andrew English, and English lost the ball. Greg Battle came up with it.
Well, they just stripped him in midstream. He didn't really fumble it. They just stripped him right out of his arms. And boy, this defense of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you talk about turnovers, the defense has created some terrific opportunities tonight. And Greg Battle, they just stripped that ball loose.
English had some yardage here. Well, he just lost the ball.
Well, you get a great look at it. Morris Lawler, yeah, he knocks it loose, and there's Battle right there to.
Nice bounce to Battle.
Well, sure was. Well, Winnipeg's been due for a few good breaks.
Another turnover. That's 5 by the Argonauts, and there's still a minute 42 to go till halftime. Kevin Mason looking deep and overthrew Ted Long. by a yard or two. Tight coverage on long by Antonius Bonner. Mason looks to the home run here.
Well, a lot of times after a turnover, it's a great momentum builder if you can connect on it, and clearly that's what he was thinking.
His man had some separation, and he just overthrew him.
Now, he's upset, but that's a tough throw. That almost coming directly over the head of Ted Long. That's a tough catch to make.
So it'll be 2nd and 10, Blue Bombers at the Argonaut 43. Winnipeg on top, 11-3. Nice play action fake by Mason to his right. And there's no one home. He fired that one away.
Well, that's a good play because he avoids the sack or any interceptions. And, you know, Westwood's going to have an opportunity. It's going to be a long field goal, but he's already hit from 52. This would be from about 50. Well, a pretty heads-up play by Kevin Mason to know the situation and that you don't want to take your team out of scoring territory.
No one was open, so he tossed it away. Westwood missed the short one, connected on the big one.
He looks ready. Look at him.
His longest this year, 54 yards.
You know, sometimes you relax on those short ones and you just figure it's a done deal, and you know, he looks pretty zeroed in right now.
Cameron puts it down. Westwood puts it up, but not high. That one off the bar. His first field goal from 52 was not a thing of beauty, but it went through. That one hit the bar.
You work all week, and you know, in practice you kick them just perfectly and everything's nice, and then you come into the game and you do this. I mean, it really is discouraging.
Didn't you kick a few for the Otterbein Fighting Cardinals in your day?
I certainly did. I kicked one for the Ticats one night.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Neil was hurt.
Neil Lumsden was our kicker at that time, and he was hurt.
That was my question. Okay.
Well, he got hurt on a play where we had to kick a field goal, and they quickly yelled at me to go in and kick. And Henry Wozchuk, the great fisherman, was our center. He snapped it, I kicked it, and had Henry ever stood up straight, it hit him right in the back of the head.
Henry's lucky.
In fact, I saw Henry the other day, and we were talking about that.
This play has worked well a time or two to Mike Clemens, but it's well detected by the Bomber defense here with 1:15 to go till halftime.
Well,
Grant Carter there.
You know, for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they've done a lot of things well in this first half. They haven't taken advantage of their opportunities like I'm sure they would want to. And when you look at the Argonauts, I mean, they have had a horrible first half. They're only down by 8 points.
Yeah, not bad. And so, and 7 of the deficit is on the long interception return.
Sure. I mean, Don Matthews will be disappointed, but, you know, as good a coach as he is, I'm sure he's going to go in and accentuate the positive. Hey, guys, it was horrible. We're only down 8.
Kerwin Bell on 2nd and 10. As Nigel Williams, number 82, and this will be a first down with 49 seconds to play till halftime.
Well, he stands in fearlessly. It's going to take a huge hit from Grant Carter, but, you know, he's willing to do that and step in. Here's Carter up here, and he delivers the strike on Bell after he gets rid of the football and beats his man to the inside, and boom. When you beat the tackle to the inside, as he did to Dwayne Morgan, you're going to get to that quarterback just a little bit quicker, and Kerwin Bell took a good shot.
He did get the first down out of it. Here's Bell firing quickly this time. Far side, another first down. Darrell Mitchell wrapped up by Brandon Hamilton.
Well, again, Kerwin Bell takes another shot as he delivers this football, again coming from the top of the screen. This time Tyrone Rogers will get there. But now what they have to do, 34 seconds. Mitchell gets out of bounds, back-to-back first downs. The Argonauts certainly have plenty of time to have an opportunity to score 3 points.
Bell goes to the shotgun. He hit on 67% of his passes last week. He hasn't been that fortunate tonight. Here's one, though. English made the catch and held on this time. He's close to another first down. 27 seconds till halftime.
I think they're going to get a roughing penalty added on. The blitz came, and Kerwin Bell definitely had delivered the football, and Brad Elbert kept coming.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Winnipeg number 1, first down corner.
Well, you just got hurt. Yeah, and you're going to get a good look. Winnipeg, the most penalized team in the league, and here's Elbert. You got to lay off. The ball is gone. That's a terrible penalty, inexcusable penalty.
Yeah, you pretty well handed the Argonauts 3 points here.
Well, you know, I mean, the ball is gone. You've got to just have some discipline. And Jeff Reinbold's club at times this year has not played with a great deal of discipline.
Turnovers were one key problem. Penalties have been another. And Bell gets a couple of cracks at it here. Definitely within range. As he hooks up with Mazzotti.
I believe that's the first time we've mentioned Paul Mazzotti's name tonight. He just is almost the forgotten man.
Second catch, yeah.
Well, it was a long time ago when he made first.
That's right. Had 18 yards on the first one. 5 on this one, 2nd and 5. There's a timeout at Skydome as Kerwin Bell looks to salvage a little something from a very mediocre first half for his Argonaut offense. At this point, good on 12 of 18 for 121 yards. And a lot of that yardage has come on this last little drive here, this last spurt to halftime.
Well, again, the key when you're behind is to try to go into the locker room feeling a little bit better about yourself and your performance, and they have a chance to do that.
This drive has covered 52 yards thus far. 21 seconds on the clock till halftime. It could be huge for the Argonauts if they hit the end zone here. The pinball, Mike Clemens has the touchdown. Finally something to cheer about, and the pinball made it happen. Clemens from Kerwin Bell, and Brad Elberg really will be feeling like a pretty lonely guy for helping set this up for the Argonauts on the weapon call.
And they really spread the defense out. Maurice Kelly just couldn't catch up with Clemens. You could see this play developing, and Kerwin Bell put the perfect air time on that throw. Unlike Barker, who tried to throw it on a line earlier, Bell, with the experience, put air time on it, let his receiver run underneath it. Picture perfect throw, and what a drive that was.
It was quick, too, as the Argonauts climbed back within a single point of the Blue Bombers after Winnipeg had a nice little comfortable lead heading to halftime. The Argos began the drive, and Brad Elberg on a roughing call on the Argonaut quarterback Kerwin Bell gave Toronto new life with 26 seconds left. Clemens found the end zone. Kerwin found the target, and Mike Clemens tosses one to his family, or at least a few friends in there. Mike's wife, Diane, sang the national anthem here to get this evening underway.
She was good.
Excellent.
You know, and when the anthem was on, of course, folks at home couldn't see that. We had a close-up of Mike Clemens. You and I were watching, and I swear he was more nervous with his wife singing the anthem than he was about playing this game. But she did it flawlessly.
He finds a way to get it done, and actually the Argonauts' offense is really revolved in the latter stages of this first half around Clemens. They started running the ball with him, and he moved it a little bit more effectively than they had been doing.
Well, what they really did well on that formation that he scored on was to spread 6 receivers across the entire width of the field and to hopefully get that seam or that lane for someone to be open in, and Clemens was the guy. But like everything, you know, you have to have the quarterback to read it. And Bell, after about 3 steps in his drop, he saw it developing, and to his credit, picked out the right guy and made a terrific throw.
Prefontaine's kickoff with 16 seconds to go. Down to Ted Long. Long gets a block, maybe 2, and he's out to the 45 with 10 seconds till halftime. The Bombers really had an opportunity to be leading by more than a point at the half. Kevin Mason, in his first start for Winnipeg, has had his moments, but really hasn't moved the club effectively. The touchdown came courtesy of the defense. Mason looks to put this one up on Millington.
Well, that Kelly Wiltshire has turned into some kind of football player. He came up and made the tackle on Millington on the screen, but I mean, he's a converted defensive back. He's leading the club in tackles, has sacks, interceptions, and you know, you look at players that make contributions that maybe you weren't totally counting on at the beginning of the year, and he'd have to be at the top of the list for the Argonauts. He's a very versatile guy.
Should be the last play of the opening half, barring penalty. Mason goes for it all. There's no one down there but Argonauts. picked out by Lester Smith. It'll count for an interception for Smith's total, but not much more. That's his first of the season. So the Argos come back to get within a point of the Blue Bombers. It's halftime on the CFL Live. Stay with us for the halftime show.
You're watching CFL Live. We're at the half. Here's your host, James Duthie.
All right, welcome back. And after going 0 for July, a glimmer of hope for Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans. But after getting 5 turnovers in the first half, you got to do better than a 1-point lead, don't you, Eric Tillman?
Well, you know, James, this is one thing about this game. The Winnipeg fans can't blame Jeff Reinbold for this one. I think their team was ready to play. They had a great defensive plan. Like Leaf said, coming out with 7 DBs was really a good idea. They recognize that the Toronto Argonauts are one-dimensional. But, you know, they've got to be stunned to only have a 1-point lead at this point. I think you have to look at 2 critical mistakes. They had the turnover at the Toronto 16-yard line. You need to get 7 from that point, but you must get 3. Winnipeg only gets a single there. And then just the dumb play by Brad Elberg at the end of the end of the half on that critical touchdown drive by the Argos. Winnipeg should be ahead by an appreciable amount, and yet, Chris, they've allowed the Argos to gain the momentum right before the second half.
Well, they really did, because the long pass to Michael Clemens, I mean, that's a momentum changer. But if I'm Jeff Reinbold, I walk in the locker room and I say, hey, guys, we were forced 5 turnovers. Let's get 5 more. Let's set the precedent. Let's set the perception early in the game. What will be critical for Winnipeg is the first 2 drives in the third quarter. If they get positive yardage, if they do some productive things, everything that happened, that singular big play, won't be part of their thought process, won't be part of their mentality. It's 11-10. I think this is advantage Winnipeg. I'm surprised that they're doing that well, James. They're playing some good football, and they're creating the turnovers, not given.
Got to take advantage of those opportunities. So Troy Westwood getting a little bit of that bad kicking itis disease that has been spreading across the nation. Somebody, please find a vaccine. It's 11-10 Bombers at the end of one half. We'll be right back with more on the halftime show. All right, our players of the week from week number 5 on offense. Kerwin Bell, very impressive in his first game back. On D, Hamilton's Gerald Vaughn. From where, Eric Tillman?
My alma mater, the University of Mississippi.
Ah, those Mississippi boys, they like sticking together. And Malvin Hunter, the Eskimos, with 2 sacks against Montreal. And those Alouettes are back in action tonight. In the other game in the CFL, they are hosting the BC Lions, and it is a close one going on over in Montreal. Let's check out the board. 14-13, Owls lead it. Chris Armstrong making his, I guess, re-debut for the Owls after getting sent over from Winnipeg, or getting cut by Winnipeg and signed by the Owls. He has a 9-yard TD reception. The Owls lead by 1. That one in the third quarter. And those BC Lions, we were almost writing them off, Chris, and they could be 3-3 if they win this one.
If they win this one, they will be 3-3. And I think what happened is Adam Reed had to assess his football team going into the season. He really wanted to have a very successful, very timing-oriented offense based on the speed of Shipman and Cunningham. But what he did is after 2 or 3 games, he had to reevaluate and say, this isn't going to work. We have to go back to simple football, and that's what they're doing. I'll be interested to see at the end of this game the yards by Robert Drummond, because as long as they keep using him in a very conservative way, I think they're going to have success. Now, on the other hand, Montreal is still struggling, Eric.
Well, Chris, this is a huge game for Montreal. They started out 3-0. And now they've lost 2 in a row, and they just cannot afford to lose another football game. If we've said many, many times in this league, you need to win at home. And if they lose tonight and go to 3-3, suddenly every little problem becomes magnified. So it's a critical fourth quarter for them, James.
Yeah, a couple of teams going in opposite directions as of now. Anyway, and don't forget to come right back to us tomorrow night. We've got another one for you, and it is the game of the year so far. The Ticats and Eskimos, both 4-1, the 2 best teams in the league right now, and the return of Ronnie Lancaster and company to Edmonton. Should be a great one from Commonwealth Stadium, and we'll be there on Adidas Friday Night Football.
Zero is the down payment, and zero is the security deposit during the Zero In on Hyundai event. Now there's absolutely nothing stopping you from zeroing in on a sporty Accent for only $185 a month. Zero. Or the roomy Elantra family sedan for only $209 a month. Zero. Or the spacious Elantra wagon now for only $229 a month. Zero. Zero. So zero in on a brand new Hyundai for next to nothing at your Hyundai dealer now.
Centuries ago, the humble potato was praised for its nutrition and worshipped for its delicious taste. Discover the new golden standard that's making modern history. Introducing McCain Home Fries. All the deep-fried flavor of your favorite fry. Crispy outside, moist potato flavor inside. Crispy McCain Home Fries. They could change history. Taste it and believe it.
CFL football is one tough game. Touch football is one fun game. Football Canada and Football Ontario invite you to have some fun. Join one of the many adult touch football leagues across Canada. The Canadian Football League, along with Molson Canadians, support their efforts. Call Football Canada or Football Ontario and get in the game.
Sometimes I like to bring it up a notch. Welcome to the show, folks! Really get the guys going. Hey, I'm responsible for the entire tempo of the game. I can hear the ladies singing now! And that's the ball game.
Cubs versus Cardinals, TSN Saturday. Sunday, NASCAR roars into New York State for the Bud at the Glen. Last year's winner, Jeff Gordon, and the rest of the field challenge the road course at the Watkins Glen International. NASCAR's the Bud at the Glen gets the green flag. Sunday on TSN.
All right, a look at our halftime stats. A couple things stick out at you. First of all, the Argos really dominating numbers-wise, I guess, on offense. 160 yards passing to only 52 for the Bombers. But the big stat, 5 turnovers from the Argos, only 1 from the Bombers. Of course, I guess when you get 5 turnovers, you have to do a little bit better than 11 points. Although they didn't take advantage on the other 4, but they did take advantage on 1, and that is our key play of the first half. And it happened right near the end of the first half. Kerwin Bell with the out pattern, and he'll hang it up a bit, and Reggie Carthon says, thank you very much. Eric Tillman, should Kerwin have thrown that ball?
No, he should not have, James, and that's a poor decision. Winnipeg's defense is playing winning football, and as you said, it's hard to believe that they've had created five defensive turnovers in this first half and only have 11 points to show for it, Chris.
And I think one of the reasons that Winnipeg is playing good football is the fact that they've shut the Argonauts down to only 35 yards rushing. Remember, last week, the Argonauts in total only had 18 yards. Sometimes when you become one-dimensional, things that would be predictably a running play turn into a passing play, and defenses anticipate that. If the Argonauts come back, you have to see a little bit more of a balanced offense, even if it's just another 50 yards, because you can't put Kerwin Bell in too many situations, James, where he's passing on every down for first downs. Defensive backs love that opportunity, and they can break on the football effectively.
You've been in a dressing room a number of times when a defense comes up with 5 turnovers like that, and the offense only puts 11 points on the board, and 7 of them came from the defense.
Right.
How devastated are you offensively? And
well, I think what has to happen is someone has to take control. Is basically someone has to come up and accentuate the positive, and hopefully it's a defensive player. You can't have an argument where a defensive player says, hey, look, we have the 5 defensive opportunities. You have very limited points. Go out there and do your job. You can't have that division. Whether it's Ryan Bolt, whether it's Pow, whether it's Carter, somebody has to put the right perspective and realize those 2 first series in the third quarter from Winnipeg are critical. If they come out firing and winning, then they have a great shot to win this game.
And we showed the Argos having some impressive passing numbers, but not too impressive on the ground, Eric.
Well, you know, last week they only ran for 18 yards total, you know, in 4 quarters. And one of the keys to the passing game is to have an effective running game, because you set things up with play action. And when people aren't afraid of the run, the play action doesn't work.
It completely dissolves.
They've been a little bit one-dimensional, but they are only trailing by 1 point at the half. Now, we appreciate you watching us, as always, but we encourage you to go out and see a game. Here's the ticket info for CFL teams in your area.
Gino Retta back here at TSN tonight, and the Toronto Blue Jays continue to wave the white flag of surrender on the 1998 season. They've made another deal. The Jays have dealt reliever Randy Myers to the San Diego Padres for minor league catcher Brian Lloyd and future considerations. The Toronto Blue Jays signed Myers to a 3-year, $18 million deal as a free agent prior to the start of this season. The Atlanta Braves were apparently interested in acquiring Myers, but the Padres were able to nullify any possible deal between those 2 teams. Myers joins the Padres bullpen that includes Trevor Hoffman, one of the most dominant closers. Myers was rather disappointing for the Blue Jays this season. He was just 3-4 with a 4.46 ERA and 28 saves on the year. Once again, Randy Myers has been dealt to the Padres by the Toronto Blue Jays. In return, they get a minor league catcher in Brian Lloyd. and future considerations. We'll have some reaction for you coming up on Sports Desk at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 Pacific time. You are watching the CFL Live here on TSN.
When you're a champion, you've got to work night and day to protect your title. Everyone wants to put you to the test, to make you sweat. But if you've got antibacterial odor fighters in your corner and 24-hour wetness protection, the kind you find in new Speed Stick Ultimate Antiperspirant, the best speed stick ever, you'll be a star in and out of the ring. New Speed Stick Ultimate, tough 24-hour protection.
5 minutes. Your favorite CFL team now has their logo on your favorite credit card. It's the CFL MasterCard credit card. Support your team and take advantage of the benefits that over 346 million MasterCard cardholders worldwide are enjoying. Each stylized card has your team's logo on it. So support your team 12 months a year and pull out your card. Call 1-877-4CFL now for your CFL MasterCard credit card. When you pay with us, you play with us.
If you like action,
Welcome to the Johnny Bauer exhibit.
you'll love the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's fun, it's surprising, it's interactive, and now with the World of Hockey Zone, it's so much fun, you won't know what hit you.
TSN is your scorecard for the most exciting and in-depth pro golf coverage. We'll take you all the way from the opening round to the showdown. TSN has the best golf coverage throughout Canada, year-round. PGA, LPGA, Super Seniors, plus World Invitationals, interviews, instructionals, and Grand Slam coverage. Keep on top of your game. Take the tour with TSN for golf coverage that's far above par.
Back live at Skydome, the Bombers lead it by a point. Here's David Amber on the sidelines with the Winnipeg head coach.
Well, Coach, you told me yesterday you weren't having too much fun. The way your defense played in the first half, are you having any more fun right now?
They're a fun bunch to watch. They've been away all year, and you know, we didn't manage the clock very well at the end of the half, and we've got to do a better job in the second half. You know, we gave up a big play at the end, and you know, I think we're all right. You know, you worry a little bit about where their heads are at, but I told them, hey, we got 30 minutes to play. We're up by 1. We've won one half of football. We got probably 50 plays of football left to play. We got to win them one at a time, and the rest of it will take care of itself.
All right, thanks. Good luck in the second half. Back to you guys.
And ready for the kickoff now. Bombers set to do it. To the Argonauts. Smith is back. And Nigel Williams ready to receive the kickoff to get the second half underway. Sherman Smith across the 25. Nice move at the 30. Still going at the 40-yard line. And across. So it's up to Kerwin Bell, first of all. Here's how the quarterback stacked up from the opening half. Bell really started quite slowly and finished with 160 yards. The one interception went for a touchdown. Kevin Mason, 52 yards passing. Not good enough, Leaf.
No, it really wasn't, Kevin Mason. I mean, I don't think you're going to expect to see terrific passing numbers from him. He can do other things, as we talked about it. John, I think this is going to be a very interesting series for the Argonauts. They scored a touchdown right before the half, and now they get the ball right back again. I mean, not only a good test for Winnipeg's defense, but let's see if Tom can carry that momentum.
On first down, it's Mike Clemens, and he's wrapped up after a gain of a couple by Maurice Kelly.
Boy, is Maurice Kelly active. I mean, he's at safety, he's at linebacker, he comes on blitzes, he's all over the place. And, you know, you usually try to assign linemen and backs to blocking patterns, and, you know, there's just really never anybody to assign to Kelly. But you talk about a guy who's active in a defense. Maurice Kelly sure is.
Argonauts at the 42-yard line, looking at 2nd and 8.
40, 40. Go.
Clear receivers to each side of the field. As Bell find one open, he takes off and took a big hit down there. There's a helmet loose, and it might be Kerwin Bell's. It is.
Check and see if the head's in the helmet.
You know, at least the ears. You hope the ears are still attached.
Well, a great defense by Winnipeg. They show a 4-man rush, but actually drop one of their linemen off and only ring 3. And again, for about the 6th time tonight, nobody for Kerwin Bell to throw to. And as a defense, you just love to see him run when you've got 9 guys back. And watch, they fake 4-man, and then Carter drops off, and listen to this.
Whoa! That was Greg Battle. Number 34. Bell had his hat removed. He seems okay on the far side, although
I didn't watch it.
it might be still ringing a little bit between his ears. Flag is down as Prefontaine got set to kick.
You know, normally in the Canadian Football League, for years, we've always said, you know, the battle cry is contain the quarterback, contain the quarterback. But Kerwin Bell is truly one of those guys that you wouldn't mind taking a few chances on your pass rush against him, because you wouldn't mind seeing him run occasionally, because this is what can happen. You get the bandage on the ear.
Yeah. Bell got rung, actually speaking. Prefontaine high and deep for Eric Blunt. Takes it over his shoulder. Nice return building for Blunt's 56 yards, in the kick by Prefontaine, who's just hammering the ball tonight.
For whom the
bell tolls, I know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we can start all over. Anyway, the good news is the Bombers have it back, and they stand the test on that opening series.
7 of 17, 52 yards for Kevin Mason. Ran a couple of times effectively. And we figure that has to be part of the Bomber game plan here early in the second half, to get Mason sprinting a little bit. Winnipeg beginning at the 22. Play action fake, and Bonner is coming from behind. Forced Mason to throw it rather quickly.
Second time tonight that Bonner has been able to get there, and he gets there just in time to prevent Kevin Mason from completing this pass. And you know, when they've got him backed up, here is Bonner at the top of your screen, and he comes like he's been shot out of a cannon, and there's nobody to pick him up. And even though Mason is rolling away, he's trying to set up to throw, and Bonner got there just in time.
Antonius Bonner. First year as a starter, although he saw a lot of action last year in a starting role, but not as a regular contributor. First down long for Winnipeg. Hangs on. That was actually second down, and there's a marker. Mason has carried 3 times for 23 yards thus far. We'll see what the infraction was and the penalty.
Well, Craig Hendrickson at the end of that play, just with a little of his extra zeal or effort, came flying over the top of that pile, and he drilled Lester Smith. And Lester, as you might imagine, took exception to that. Okay, watch this, the play, and going to get wrapped up. Tackle plays over. Now watch this. Boom. Jeez. The high jumper.
Yeah, well, Lester ducked under it. He shouldn't have been too badly shaken.
The high jumper shows up. Use Lester for a crossbar.
Yeah, I think he watched it on the
He's
Jumbotron replay.
He's laughing. He's saying, I didn't think I could get that high.
We'll see how close it is to a first down for the Bombers here. Any portion of the ball. And it will be a first down.
You know, it's short yardage for Winnipeg. They maybe should think of Hendrickson back there to go up and over the top.
Up and over the top.
That might be it, because they've had trouble in short yardage. Can you imagine Millington leading and Hendrickson
following?
All right, I'm getting carried away.
Yeah, it might be a little bit much.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Winnipeg, number 66, after the first down had been completed. First down, Winnipeg.
It's Mike Mihalik.
Well, I don't know how he got nailed for that.
Must have been in the scrum pileup down there. Mihalik took a couple of procedure calls last week and was not the most popular guy.
Well, he's having a little sit down to think about it now.
Yeah.
It's like sitting on the chair out in the hall.
Waiting to go to the principal's office. Mason connects.
Second big play of the game for Clifton Abraham on that quick screen. If they're going to try that play, I think they got to try Donald Smith's side, because Abraham
just too quick.
Well, he gets underneath the block so fast, and you know, as again, you know, see right here he comes, and nobody. Here comes Millington. That's the second time Millington, and his timing hasn't been right to make that play. all of a sudden now you're in a hole, and that should be a good first down play that gets you at least 5-6 yards.
Now the Bombers are looking at a loss of 1 second 11 for Mason. Here's the charge. Mason steps up. And 2 Argonauts touched it. O'Shea first, and then Lester Smith. No real chance for the interception, but Mason was hurried on the throw.
Well, you get him in 2nd and long. You only rush 3 people. The defense, you're just concerned with getting into your drops and getting deep, and that's what the Argos did. And you see Lester Smith, had that ball been in there sooner, I think he would have had the interception. That's why he's smacking his hands together. He knew he had one, but O'Shea, to his credit, tipped it up a little shorter downfield.
Tough start to the second half for the Bombers, still leading by a point. Cameron being outkicked and not having a bad evening at 43-2. This is a little deeper. Sherman Smith inside his 50-yard line. Good special team coverage by the Blue Bombers again. The defense has been solid, so has special teams. John Kalin leading the tacklers there. It's Kerwin Bell's turn when we return.
Play Safeway's $1 Million Touchdown to Win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you have won Fill-A-Shave with Reflex Action. It adapts comfortably to the contours of your face. Closer contact for a closer shave. Fill-A-Shave from Philips, our closest shave ever. Or the Business Navigator Personal Organizer from Casio with PC synchronization software and large 1 megabyte anti-loss memory. The BN10 packs so much power it's like having a PC in your pocket. Enter your ballot at your local Safeway Food and Drug today.
Night, Shannon. Good game.
Hey, thanks, man.
Hey, that's crazy. What time did I want to
You like late hits? Then you love NFL Extreme. It's a 5-on-5 gridiron free-for-all.
PlayStation.
Looking for a spark to ignite your summer? Check out CFL 1998 on TSN. The CFL Live and Adidas Friday Night Football deliver the heat and the heroes from coast to coast. CFL 1998. See it, live it, this summer on TSN.
It's the Bombers by 1 into the third quarter at Skydome. Darryl Mitchell, number 87, having an off night by his standards. He's a member of the Argonaut receiving corps, 5 receptions, 39 yards. He's enjoyed playing against the Bombers, Lee.
Well, here's a look at what he's been able to do to them last year. And, you know, as a player, you just have certain teams that you like playing against. You have a good feeling. And, of course, when you have that good feeling, you usually have good results. And this is what he did a year ago against the Bombers.
5 touchdowns in 3 games against Winnipeg last year.
Not bad.
He's dropped a couple here tonight. Argonauts begin at the 49-yard line, or the 51, I should say. Mitchell to the near side, and Kerwin Bell looking for English. That draws a marker. Lawler was covering, and Bell figures the penalty is going against Winnipeg.
Well, there was a lot of contact downfield. Toronto ran a definite pick. They're probably not going to get called for it, but there was no question. They tried to pick to the inside, and I think they really got away with one.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg, number 29, deliberate. First down, Toronto.
Rob Robinson singled out. It's a 22-yard pickup for the Argonauts as a result. Costly penalty against Winnipeg.
Boy, they sure are. I mean, you know, you just can't, when you're struggling as a team looking for your first victory, you just can't give other teams those freebies. And, you know, that's a freebie.
Argonauts set up at the Winnipeg 36. Bell has time near side. He has a target. It's Mitchell, and he has another first down inside the 20. Wrapped up by Brandon Hamilton.
And when the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have gone to that 3-man pass rush, although they've had good coverage downfield, they really have had little or no pressure. And here you see a great look at Bell, the angle that he sees, the natural seam, and the good pocket to step up into. When you throw off your front foot, obviously you're going to get that extra velocity. He did. Darryl Mitchell with the good pass route and catch.
So the Argonauts threaten here. 1st and 10 at the Bomber 18. Kerwin Bell has time, looks for the corner, and he has the touchdown. Nigel Williams, first as an Argonaut. Came over from Montreal 3 weeks ago. He has his first Toronto touchdown. Little doubt about that. Pitch and catch.
And he has filled a huge need for the Argonauts since they acquired him from Montreal. Not only is he returning kickoffs, which they needed, he's done a good job catching footballs. There he beats Carthon to the outside, and not the greatest throw that Bell has made tonight, but good enough to get the job done.
Excellent speed. Nigel Williams in behind Reggie Carthon. And the Argonauts have the lead for the first time. 9:45 to go. In the 3rd quarter, it's Toronto on top by 6, 17-11 at Skydome. Here with a CFL Live on TSN.
Live from the ocean floor, be there. Technology has made it possible to see history as it happens. And now it will take you inside Titanic live. Analyze the damage from inside the hull. And be there live in places unseen since April 15th, 1912. Titanic Live, a night to remember. August 16th, only on the Discovery Channel.
TSN's got your Video Golf Magazine. It's a weekly wrap-up of the golf tour. Catch Acura World of Golf on TSN.
I don't make the big plays, and I don't make the headlines. I don't make the fans jump to their feet, but I do make a difference. I'm that way.
Jays, Mariners, TSN Tuesday.
Argonauts have their first touchdown of the night and lead the Blue Bombers 17-11. Nigel Williams, a 26-yard reception from Kerwin Bell.
Well, they're desperately trying to find some balance at slot back to offset Daryl Mitchell, and Nigel Williams is not disappointed. He's picked up the offense well. He's a great target at 6'4" and 206, and always just kind of an underachiever with Montreal, but maybe a change will do him good here in Toronto, and he'll blossom.
Returning for the Blue Bombers, Ted Long. Hit quickly. Brandon Rogers leading the tacklers, number 35.
How many years has he been doing that?
Leading the tacklers on special teams. He's had some great games, hasn't he?
He is a beauty. I mean, you know, you look no further to how your team is going to play than to special teams some nights. And Brendan Rodgers, of course, great years with Winnipeg, and now with Toronto, first guy down all the time. He and Mike O'Shea, they're like bookends coming down there. And boy, you have to admire the fortitude that he plays this game with.
8th year in the league, 3rd with the Argonauts. Winnipeg first down, and running inside is tough behind Schuldice, who's in there now. Eric Blunt, who leads the league in all-purpose yards and hasn't really been able to break much so far tonight, although there was one nice sweep to the left side in the first half. Coming into the game, Blunt with 977 all-purpose yards.
Boy, it just seems, we talked about this earlier, that Winnipeg has just been second and long the entire night.
And again here, 2nd and 7. Mason may not get it away. He doesn't. Wrestled to the turf by Todrick McIntosh, number 94. Third sack.
Boy, you see how they overload. Here's Lester Smith. As he comes up in here, they all kind of block down. And old Todrick McIntosh, he just has a free wheel to the outside. You're just overmanning the offensive line. They just don't have enough people. And who pays the price? It's the quarterback. And we've seen that a lot of people have come free for the Toronto Argonauts as they have rushed the passer tonight. And there you see the 3 sacks. You know, they have not had a lot of sacks this year, but those 3 have been big 3.
Cameron across the 22 to get a high kick away. Sherman Smith chased back to his 27. Straight ahead, he's across the 35 to about the 36. 51-yarder for Cameron that time. Let's bring in David Amber. Apparently we've got a mic problem on the sidelines. We'll get to David in just a moment. Meantime, it's Kerwin Bell at center stage. Nice touchdown march last time, Leifer.
Yeah, it really was. He got a little help with penalty on that series, but he did a good job. Made a nice throw to Nigel Williams. You know, they ended this first half nicely. They played well in the third quarter, so they got their game around.
Beginning this drive at the 36. Bell is on target. Daryl Mitchell is wrestled back after making the catch by Brandon Hamilton.
Well, you look at adjustments that the Argonauts have made against this 7 defensive back system for Winnipeg. Obviously, Toronto has not been able to attack it running and probably won't be for the entire night. But what they've done, very subtle adjustment. They have really spread their receiving core out. And so at least with 7 defensive backs, they're going to have to cover the entire field. And I think that's one little subtle thing that has given the receivers just a tiny bit more breathing space to get open.
They'll measure and see how close this is to a first down for the Argonauts. Toronto leading 17-11, 7:35, about halfway through the third quarter at Skydome tonight. Is it enough? Yes, it'll be a first down, Toronto.
You know, the difference, we saw John Jenkins. You look back to the last couple of years, and when teams would throw a different wrinkle at you on defense with Doug Flutie, I mean, he could make those changes on the run and in the huddle. It's a different team this year. Kerwin, and that's not any disrespect to Kerwin Bell, but it is a different team. I think they're going to maybe take a little longer to make their adjustments during games, but to their credit, they have made them.
Well, Kerwin Bell's numbers were not very good in the early going, but he's creeping in on over 200 yards passing here now. Barely got it away. That one appeared to bounce, and it is whistled. Clemens scooped it off the turf.
First time that Joe Fleming, who has 4 sacks and is the leading sacker from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, has really been able to get close to Kerwin Bell, and he got just enough of that arm. But Fleming, who really play after play gets good push up the middle, and finally gets there.
Fleming, a free agent from the BC Lions.
Oh, big signing.
Yeah, drafted by the St. Louis Blues as a defenseman in an earlier life.
A few guys in the NHL that's playing in Winnipeg.
Well, escapes and fires anyway. Looked like he had a little running room, no catch, as Daryl Mitchell couldn't quite squeeze it that time.
Well, here's Daryl Mitchell right here. Kind of a tough night for the Argonauts because, you know, it seems like they've been close, and then other times it just seems like they're so far away. You know, should have been a catch maybe here, and the third one he could have had, and then they have a good drive, then they drop a few balls, and just not a clean night.
Prefontaine has been booming it all evening long. His average is 48.5. Not as high this time. Blunt at the Winnipeg 15. Penalty marker goes down. And it might have been on Brendan Rodgers. 46-yard kick. Mason out on the field now.
Winnipeg number 5. First down.
Well, the illegal block by the Bombers, it might have been on Brendan Rodgers, but the penalty is not.
Might have been on. He was the first one down again.
So Matt DeBuck takes the penalty there, and the Bombers begin in horrible field position one more time, starting at the 9-yard line. Not easy for Mason here. Good play action fake by Kevin Mason. Sprinting and then sliding at the 3-yard line. Ended up on his backside. Wiltshire supplying a little pressure there to force it. And that'll be a sack. That's the 4th by the Argonauts.
Well, again, a good fake, but here's Kelly Wiltshire right there, and you know he's going to just bite a little bit, but he has enough speed as a former defensive back to get outside. And you know, this is a one receiver pattern. When you run that bootleg, you got one guy you're throwing to. If he's not open, this is what happens. And that wasn't a great defensive play by Wiltshire. It's just that you're so limited to one receiver. He's not open, you're in trouble.
Loss of 6, 2nd and 16. Mason has to retreat behind his goal line. Finds a little time over there. Looks to the near side. Dangerous pass. Long was the target. Well, Marcelo Simmons tipped it away. Hang on, that was
Antonius
Bonner, yeah.
Well, when you have that amount of time to close on your receiver, you know, you're going to make these defensive backs look pretty good. So when you look and you try to analyze the Winnipeg offense, you'd think, well, with Eric Blunt and Sean Millington, we've got to have a pretty good running game, and that really hasn't happened tonight. And, you know, this isn't a receiving corps that's going to strike fear into the hearts of defensive backs around the league with, you know, Matt the Buck and Ted Long and those kind of guys. So it's tough to have an offense to function at a high level.
Bob Cameron from the end zone. The Bombers are losing in the field position exchange. Cameron gives up 2 for the second time tonight. A couple of safeties. So it's 19-11, an 8-point lead for the Argonauts. The Bombers give up 2 to buy a little field position. We'll see if it works out when we return.
Play Safeway's $1 million touchdown to win. If your name appears, you won a fabulous trip for 2 to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. You'll stay at the Villas Vallarta Hotel and fly Air Transat, all courtesy of World of Vacations, Canada's #1 tour operator to the sun. $1 million touchdown to win at Safeway Food and Drug.
I don't make the big plays, and I don't make the headlines. I don't make the fans jump to their feet, but I do make a difference. I'm that way.
Jays, Mariners, TSN Tuesday. TSN Sports Updates, straight from the TSN newsroom to your radio. All the news and scores from the world of sports. TSN Sports Updates. Catch the signal on TSN Sports Radio.
Play Safeway's $1 million touchdown to win for your chance to win $1 million. Participating products include Post Honey Toasted Shredded Wheat or Golden Honey Shreddies, Areva Tortilla Thins, Sunripe Juice. Now there's a million more reasons to shop at Safeway, today's better way.
Bomber head coach Jeff Reinbold still wondering what he has to do to win a football game. He had the lead by a point at halftime, by more than that late in the second quarter, but now the Bombers have fallen behind by 8. And they made some errors, Leaf, that have really cost them in this football game.
A couple of penalties that have hurt and kept
they've eliminated
drives going.
The big turnovers. The Argonauts have turned it over 5 times, or at least did turn it over 5 times in the first half.
Well, I mean, the proof of the pudding is the offense has scored 3 points.
Yeah.
And they've had tremendous opportunities. They've scored 4 points. But they've had tremendous opportunities in good field position, and Kevin Mason has not been able to get it done. And there's a lot of pressure on this team. I mean, this team was expected to certainly have a better record than it has right now.
When you look at the personnel, the Bombers should not be 0-5.
Well, the offense, I'm still not sold on their personnel.
Kerwin Bell looks deep, and he's got his man, Nigel Williams.
What a catch.
Second big one of the night. The first went for a touchdown. This gets the Argos inside the Bomber 30-yard line. Williams slightly shaken up.
You know, to Kerwin Bell's credit, he knows who he's throwing to, that Nigel Williams is 6'4", and he's going to go up and take that ball away from shorter defensive backs, which he was able to do right there. You know, without question, that's knowing your personnel and what their physical abilities are. And Nigel Williams' ability is to go high in the air and make that kind of a play.
And also get behind defenders. He's got good speed.
Oh, he's got great speed. I mean, he's a fellow that played junior football with the Hamilton Hurricanes, didn't get some of the maybe the greatest training. I mean, not that junior football is bad, but it's certainly not high-level university football, so he didn't get maybe the raw training that he might have, and so he's going to take just a little bit longer to develop in the pros, and you know, to get away from Montreal and get to Toronto where they really wanted him. I mean, there's nothing better than being wanted and needed, and certainly that's the situation for him here.
The Argonauts had been after him last year and finally got him from the Montreal Alouettes 3 games ago.
Well, it's a good feeling to know that teams are trading for you. They want you. That's good.
Williams still down on the field after a 45-yard gain. 4:22 to go to three-quarter time. Kerwin Bell had a real slow start, but he's come on in the latter stages of the opening half and certainly here in the third quarter.
He went down awkwardly on his left shoulder, and I'm just wondering if that's what they're looking at. I mean, the Argonauts now, Bell and Jenkins are having a conversation. 19-11. They had a good finish in the second quarter. Strong third quarter here. And this is where the good teams have a chance to really take control of this game. And nobody's really had control up until this point, but I think if they get a touchdown, this Winnipeg offense is not a great come-from-behind kind of offense.
Little doubt about that, and with a new quarterback in there for Winnipeg, it makes it even tougher. Here's Bell on first down. Near side. Target. He has the newcomer, Andrew English. Just arrived from the BC Lions, making his Toronto debut tonight. Battle and Ferguson force him out.
Well, again, they're spreading out that defense, and Kerwin Bell is now getting some better one-on-one matchups and using that whole field. See how they spread it out. And that time, Morris Lawler was giving English a lot of room.
Too much, obviously.
Yeah. Well, here's a guy that's going to have a great chance. Andre Kerwin, who played last week, is injured, and English they picked up. He's going to get a shot. What a good opportunity for him.
Out the Bombers 16 on first down. Bell gets the rush, eludes it initially, and manages to get a few yards. Fleming missed him. And finally, Wesley Lisi, number 52, got over to make the tackle.
I'd like to see Danny Mack and Kerwin Bell in a race.
Mack had...
No, he had the 19-yard run.
Yeah, no, I was thinking, was it, yeah.
Tillman had a good line, though.
But
the only time he's seen him run that fast or whatever it was is when it was for food.
Likely over to Tim Hortons.
I could say that because it was in the paper today that I read. It wasn't my line.
Only a 1-yard gain. Bell to the end zone. Almost intercepted. Good opportunity as Hamilton went up. Got hands on the football, but couldn't bring it down. So Bell missed the target there. Brandon Hamilton missed an opportunity.
I mean, here's an opportunity that's going to end up probably costing you 3 points. I mean, this should be an interception. He read it perfectly, and of course you don't make the catch, and now you get Prefontaine coming out for 3 points. You look at turnarounds in this game. I mean, there's another little missed opportunity to limit the Toronto drive. Speaking of Danny Mack, I mean, that's going to be a great game tomorrow night. Both teams 4-1. Hamilton going out to Commonwealth Stadium. The return to Ron Lancaster. And the good news is we will have it for you as part of Friday Night Football.
It is Friday Night Football from Commonwealth tomorrow.
You bet.
Jordan Miller and Glenn Suter will be there for that. Casati puts it down. Prefontaine puts it up, and he's on target. He's 1 for 1. And that might be a bit of a relief to the rookie kicker, who struggled a little bit in that department lately, hitting on only 42% of his field goals, 9 of 21 coming into tonight.
But let's put it in perspective. He had 7 misses, I think over 49 yards. So they had put him into some difficult positions just because the offense was struggling. You see everybody over there that tell them, hey,
way to go.
You got the stroke back.
Argonauts have now doubled the Blue Bombers. It's 22-11, 2:46 to go in the third quarter, and Winnipeg hasn't shown anything here in the second half on offense or really on defense. They haven't made the big plays on defense, and they haven't moved it a bit offensively.
No, they haven't. You know, as we stay on a shot of Noah Prefontaine here, I mean, I'm trying to think back when people were saying, well, you know, he's this, he's that, he's struggling. You know, very rarely does a rookie kicker come into this league and dominate. I mean, it just doesn't happen. But I think, you know, as Don Matthews, I sure do share his enthusiasm as to the future prospects of this young kicker.
You can certainly see his value as a punter because he moves it.
He's got tremendous range.
Eric Blunt for the Blue Bombers. Decent return. This is all right for field position for Winnipeg, the way things have been going in the second half. And again, it is Michael O'Shea leading the Argonaut tacklers. He's had a big night on special teams.
You know, John, as you analyze this game and what would be the reasoning why you would start Kevin Mason over T.J. Rubley? Well, obviously, Rubley as a rookie was struggling with his interception to touchdown ratio, and bringing in a veteran might be good. But what are the attributes of a Mason? It's to run with the football as
Mobility,
much as anything.
Obviously.
And he just hasn't done it tonight. So you often wonder, what is the logic in having this guy continue?
9 of 22. Make that 10 of 23 as he connects with Larry Thompson, far side. Biggest play by far for the Bombers in the second half. Mason to Larry Thompson.
Well, a good throw there by Kevin Mason, but you know, when a team is 0-5 and you're desperately searching for a win, when you get to catch-up situations that you got to throw, I don't know that this guy on your screen right here is maybe the guy you want to go to. Although Mason made a good throw there. I just find it a little illogical as to what the thought process might have been.
You make the change if you want to, but then you put the game plan in that gets him running, is really what you're saying, right? Here's
yeah, absolutely.
Derek One turned the corner, has about 6 yards. The Bombers really had to find some kind of a spark to see if they could break out of this losing streak. So the Mason decision has some positives to it.
Well, it's a tough situation for Jeff Reinbold. I mean, we talked in the opening, it's a quarterback league, and if you don't have the guy that is having a good game or a good year or leading your club, it really doesn't matter a heck of a lot what you do. It's going to be tough to win football games.
This is second down for Mason. Pumps once, looks to the far side. And it's a battle over there between McLennan and Clifton Abraham. No one wins.
Well, Abraham had perfect position on Spencer McLennan, timed it perfectly, and you know, he goes up and gets right in to the hands of the receiver, and he takes a pretty good shot as he hits the turf. But how impressive has he been tonight as a rookie? Made 2 great plays on quick screens to wide receivers with tackles, and now, you know, out wrestling McLennan to break that up. You know, Adrian Smith played the corner so well, and he, of course, left and went to the Buffalo Bills. And you always wonder, gosh, I hope we can replace a guy like him. Well, Clifton Abraham has shown me a lot tonight.
Cameron for Clemens. The pinball steps up to the 10-yard line. Surrounded rather quickly. A 36-yard punt. And Kerwin Bell, pretty solid second half so far. He has the Argonauts in the lead by 11 points. Last week's player of the week in the CFL, completing 27 of 40, 377 yards. Didn't look like he was going to even get close to that tonight the way it began, but he's at 264 now with a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, he's improved. The last drive of the second quarter was what really turned his game around.
Argonauts beginning at the 13-yard line. Key sequence for the Bomber defense. Stop them here and get the ball back. Mike Clemens grabbed by Carter, the second man through.
But again, they just have not been able to attack this 7 defensive back system. Only 2 in the box up front with linebackers and essentially a 3-down lineman front here. But the Argonauts really have not been able to take advantage of that at all. And when you're backed up in your own territory, you like to think, I mean, a year ago, you would have said, hey, we got Drummond. We got a good shot.
#2 guy.
And, but I mean, this is 1998, not 97, and things have changed somewhat for this offense.
They like to spread things out, and that's what they have. The offensive setup now on 2nd and 10. The pinball, Mike Clemens made the catch. Made a nice run afterwards. We'll see how close he really got to the first down. Mike Clemens makes big plays for the Argonauts, like this one here on 2nd and 10. Slightly shaken up, but apparently okay. That's the end of quarter number 3. It is the Argos by 11 on the Blue Bombers at 3/4 time.
You're watching CFL Live, and we're at the quarter. Here's your host, James Duffy.
All right, welcome back. Well, after a first half where not much went right for the Argos, a third quarter that was almost perfect. No turnovers. The defense stops Winnipeg almost every time. The offense moves the ball, and even Noel Prefontaine hits a field goal, which is great for his confidence. On the other side of the ball, Eric Tillman, almost nothing goes right for the Bombers once again.
You're right. You know, I think Winnipeg is really one player away from being a pretty good football team. Unfortunately, that position happens to be quarterback. You know, you got TJ Rubley, who's a rookie, and I think the jury is still very much out on Kevin Mason. You want your quarterback to have a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and Mason's ratio is 2-to-1 in career numbers. Unfortunately, it's in inverse order. He has 11 touchdowns and 22 interceptions.
Yeah, but it's 22 interceptions, but I really think some of this situation, too, is you got to look at the production at the wide receivers and slot backs. I mean, Larry Thompson, where's his production? Where's Matt the Buck, Ted Long, Mike Trevathan, first time Chris Armstrong, Montreal? I mean, you know as well as I do, Eric, in a practice situation, the timing of the relationship between the quarterbacks and the receivers is critical. As much as we have a quarterback problem, I think we have a lack of production at wide receiver and slot back because they have to get open for this young receiver. They can't expect him to make all the plays.
You can talk all you want about timing. Of course, that's a critical component, but it all starts and stops underneath the center. Chris, I'm going to give you a perfect example. The Hamilton Tiger Cats were 2-16 last year. They added Danny McManus. What's their record right now? 4-1. If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance to win.
All right, they'll be talking throughout the fourth quarter. You know, it doesn't end when I leave here. One other quick score for you. Montreal has defeated BC 22-16. More on that after our game. Right now, let's get to fourth quarter action. Here's Leaf and John.
The Argonauts begin the fourth quarter with a first down.
Did I detect a little scrap in the studio there?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Liven things up tonight.
Well, Tylo's guys started to go at it a little bit. You know, they both had great points. I agree with Chris Schultz. I don't like this Winnipeg receiving core, and how can you argue with Eric Tillman? They don't have a quarterback either. That spells big trouble.
First play of the fourth quarter is whistled down. Kerwin Bell got his hands on the football, but it was whistled dead before that. Blue Bombers really haven't been able to move it.
Procedure. Toronto, number 66, still first down.
Jude St. John, over from the Hamilton Tiger Cats, is a free agent. Made a big difference to the Argonauts' offensive line. After a tough start, Chris Giaskis moved inside. Dwayne Morgan was added. And things have gone a little bit better for the Argonauts, but they've allowed 17 sacks coming into tonight's game. On first and 15, Nigel Williams makes the catch. And he's surrounded by Bombers and driven back about 20 yards. There were maybe seven Bombers surrounding him after he made the catch. But they'll mark it where his forward progress is, and that's out near first down territory on first and 15.
I don't know if you're going to get a great look at this, but to the left of your screen, when Nigel Williams, he comes back to the quarterback. When he gets in the hole, he's working back towards Kerwin Bell. And, you know, he keeps that separation that he's created between himself and Morris Lawler. And, you know, those are the little things that as a receiver over time you learn. And obviously Nigel Williams has learned to come back to the quarterback. And some guys, for whatever reason, never learn that. You can tell them 1,000 times, but they just don't get it. He's got it. He's made some great catches tonight. He has a touchdown, and he's doing the little things right. And don't think the coaches in the film session aren't going to say something to him about that, because that's good to see.
Nigel Williams over from the Montreal Alouettes for a first-round draft pick in 1999.
We'll get a shot of him again. Like he's a receiver with enormous arms. I mean, he's been in the weight room, this guy.
Pinball is over the top on second and less than a yard to go. Another Argonaut first down. He ran into Greg Battle. So the Argonauts, after a very slow start, have really put things together late in the opening half. They drove for a touchdown, got within a point, and it's been all Toronto in the second half.
Look at those babies. Look at those.
Those are guns.
He's a wide receiver. Man, that was impressive.
Another Argonaut first down, Kerwin Bell. Won't get it away. Grant Carter is there. Second sack of the ball game for Carter.
Well, he's one guy, Grant Carter, that has worked hard all night. And, I mean, he is terrific at rushing the passer. That's his prime objective in this defense. And occasionally he will drop off into pass coverage. But one of the few times tonight that, actually the second time, that they've been able to get to Kerwin Bell and bring him down. Had a few pressures, but really not a great deal.
It'll be 2nd and 15. The Argonauts back at the 33 now. 12:53 to play till full time at Skydome. Bell has time here. Fleming got through, knocked it loose. And it went right back to Kerwin Bell. Fleming had the pressure this time.
Well, a good inside move. Here's Joe Fleming right there. Good inside move, and now best thing he's trying to strip that football. You see, he gets it and just can't squeeze it. And, you know, at this stage of the game, heck, it's only 22-11. 22-11. And the turnover here could
have been a critical play.
Absolutely.
And it's looking more and more like it's going to have to be the Blue Bomber defense to set up any kind of a comeback for Winnipeg here tonight.
Well, I think you're right.
Prefontaine on 3rd down, back to his 10.
Now here's where he gets a chance to really air one out.
Marker is down before Blunt makes a play on it, and it bounces in front of him. Tough to handle. He takes it on the 3rd hop, and Winnipeg will get good field position on a short kick by Prefontaine, depending on what the penalty was for.
Offside, Winnipeg, number 22. Still 3rd down.
Well, they were at their own 51-yard line after that play ended. So let's have a look and see what this penalty cost them in yardage when they have to give up.
It'll be rather interesting.
5 yards. So 51-yard line. Keep that in mind.
You keep track of all of these numbers.
I've just written this down.
Yeah, I know.
Because I figured you might not remember. We're getting older.
Yeah, well, the math major from Otterbein should be able to figure this out.
51. Let's see what this costs. 5 yards, and that was not a good
Prefontaine's worst kick of the night. So he stands now back at the 15. It was a 41-yarder. This one not as deep as earlier ones either. So here's Blunt ready to return. And he's across the 40-yard line to about the 41. 46-yard kick there, so it costs about 10 yards in field position. It's the Argonauts by 11 on CFL Live.
Play Safeway's $1 Million Touchdown to Win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you have won Dirt Devil MVP Swivel Glide Vacuum with patented rear swivel casters and the Ultra Hand Vac with onboard tools. Dirt Devil, powerful vacuums that are incredibly easy to use. Or a Zenith 27-inch digital-ready stereo television with 530 lines of resolution, universal night vision glow-in-the-dark remote, and SEQ front surround sound. Zenith Entertainment, just like they like it. Enter your ballot at your local Safeway Food and Drug today.
Hey, Mom. Hi. Can we order pizza? Okay. Time for McCain.
McCain Rising Crust Pizza. The pizzeria pizza from McCain with a rising crust that bakes up fresh in your oven to deliver a perfect crust loaded with more toppings than ever.
Great pizza. Where'd you get it?
Oh, just a little place around the corner.
Rising Crust Pizza, delivered by McCain.
This is my guy. He's got a group of friends. Don't ask me why they act this way. I guess they must be men. So boys will be boys. Girls try to understand. It's freezing cold. They won't be told. Do they listen? Do they hear? No! This is
Join us at center court tomorrow for the Demorier Open Men's International Tennis on TSN. 1 and 7 Eastern, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Pacific time. Great field for the Canadian Open in 1998.
You bet. Andre Agassi is in the tournament, the darling of all the fans yesterday, spending a lot of time signing autographs. Pete Sampras, great field. Jim Van Horn and Peter Burwash tomorrow.
1st and 10 Blue Bombers. Mason got it away. Blunt made the catch. And Simmons supplied a very quick tackle.
Well, I was cringing at that one because Marcelo Simmons really has a free shot here. This ball kind of hangs, and Blunt is very exposed, but Simmons just makes a routine tackle. That 5-yard penalty, by the way, cost Winnipeg 8 yards in field position.
I said 11, he said.
Wanted to get back to
It's
that.
corrected, yep. 8 yards. Mason on 2nd and 8. Had some time, found a target. No catch. Millington couldn't hang on. So far, the Bombers have amassed 87 yards passing, 67 yards rushing, a net total of 115 yards, and allowed 4 sacks. This offense is going nowhere.
This offense in the passing game is structured on receivers running very precise routes. When you do rollouts to a single side receiver, you better hope he gets open. These guys aren't getting open. And it's tough, and not to be too hard on them, but I mean, this is not, as I said earlier, a receiving core that strikes a lot of fear in people's hearts.
Sherman Smith has a nice hole open up the middle. Markers are down, and Sherman Smith is grabbed by number 25 Millington. After a 40-yard kick, nice return by Smith. We'll check out the infraction. 10:37 to go in the final quarter. Slow start for Kerwin Bell. He's on his game now and in control of a comfortable 11-point lead. What might have been
legal block, Toronto number 27, 1st down.
Now you look back to some of the turnovers that the Bombers had where they got it deep in Toronto territory. They have a 26-yard or 21-yard field goal by Roy Westwood. He misses it, only get a single point off the big turnover, a fumble by Darryl Mitchell. And, you know, these are just the little things that keep you from winning ball games.
Missed an interception in the end zone by Hamilton down here. Joe
That's
Fleming.
3 points. There's 10 points right there. And it's
can't quite hang on to a loose ball.
There you go. I mean, you can go back and certainly you can document a lot of things that could have changed this game.
Bell is wrapped up and thrown down. It's Joe Fleming, number 76, getting to Kerwin Bell again. He's had pressure on him a couple of times tonight.
Well, you can't fault the defense. I think the defense for Winnipeg, again, has lived up to their number 3 ranking in the league right now. And, you know, they haven't been too bad at all. Here's Joe Fleming right there. And, you know, he's one guy that has just come hard play after play. And, you know, he beats the block of the center, Chad Falk. And, again, another sack, 3rd sack of the night for the Bombers.
Loss fairly substantial. It's 2nd and 16.
Here's where you got to play tough defense. You don't want Toronto picking up 1st down at this stage.
And they won't. Kerwin Bell aimed it for English. He couldn't come up with it.
You know, the way the game is going, I mean, Eric Blunt has had some great punt returns for touchdowns this year. 96-yard one, I think we showed earlier, but they just haven't been able to get on track tonight. I mean, I'd almost take a shot at blocking one here. I think you have to try and do something extraordinary to shift what has been a rather lackluster game on both sides. And I think, you know, there's only one back. You got 11 men up, and boy, I'd really, if I'm Jeff Ryan,
for it?
Yeah, I go for it.
With a little heat on Prefontaine,
sure,
standing at his goal line.
You haven't had a lot of great return yards tonight anyway, so why not? We'll see if they do it.
Eric Blunt. Little seam to the far side. Blunt burns the corner. Nice return after a 50-yard.
And the general manager of that franchise on a conference call early this evening, Gauthier stuck to his guns.
If I had premeditated let go of one of my best friends in the game, you know, that's totally the opposite. I was given the responsibility of this franchise by Anaheim Sports, and I came in here, you know, and evaluated what the situation was, and it came to the decision we announced today.
And he made that call. Trade in baseball to tell you about the Toronto Blue Jays have sent reliever Randy Myers to the San Diego Padres for minor league catcher Brian Lloyd and future considerations. Back to the Sky Dome right after this break.
this is where love means nothing. Everyone's a number. Lines are at fault. Silence is painfully loud. Du Maurier Open Tennis continues Friday. TSN. Get yourself race ready with the Fram Speed Zone Saturday, right here on TSN.
The Bombers led by a point at halftime. They trail by 11 right now. Joe Paopao looking at it as offense. Kevin Mason, 11 of 26, 87 yards passing, and the rushing totals haven't been impressive either.
Well, 3 carries for 23 yards, and I thought that would be his greatest asset. Here's T.J. Rubley on the sidelines, and you know, I don't know. It's so easy to second-guess people, but you know, I might give him a shot right now. They're not doing it with the running game, so at least this guy's a pure thrower. Can you imagine if he ever turned it around, what kind of confidence that would give him and the team? And I'm not so sure I wouldn't make the switch right now.
Mason gets his opportunity here. A marker is down as Blunt tries to turn the corner and does. Good yardage for Eric Blunt, wrapped up by Clifton Abraham. We'll have to see what the infraction was, however. Bombers down by 11, 8:54 to go. Lots of time. They can get a break or two and find the end zone here quickly.
You know, I remember Jeff Reinbold. We did their opening game of the season in Winnipeg against Montreal. The first thing he said about his team this year is he said, if we don't run the ball effectively in games, we're going to have trouble winning games.
Offside, Toronto left end. First down repeated.
So it'll be 1st and 5.
Well, and they really have not run the ball well enough to win games. He was very adamant about it. You know, he felt like Millington was going to have a big year.
Millington hasn't had a big year. Well, he's been hurt a little bit, but he hasn't really done what they were hoping for.
Well, you think about it, though. How many times has he touched the ball tonight? Very few. I'll bet you not more than 5. 67 yards on the ground as a team.
Good fake by Mason. No room to run. He leans back to throw. This one is up for grabs, and the Argonauts came closer than the intended receiver, Larry Thompson.
But this is the point. This was the exact point I was making about the way this offense is structured right now. Great play fake to get outside, but this is a one-man pattern. Everything lies with Larry Thompson's ability to get open. Is he open?
No.
Heck, you've got Lester Smith and Donald Smith right around him. Double coverage. Only one receiver offense to that side. Unless your quarterback has plan B clearly in his head that he's going to run if nothing's there, this is a tough offense to have function at a high level.
So it'll be 2nd and 5 now. Bombers absolutely desperate to come up with a first down. Mason may not get away. Wilshire's there. And Mason got away from 1, 2. Now he's still going. Best run of the game for Kevin Mason when he should have been decked about 15 yards deep. Somehow he escaped. But they've thrown a flag.
How in the world did he get away? I mean, we talk about what he gives this club. This is it right here.
3, 4. I'm just counting tackles.
Winnipeg, number 62. First down, Winnipeg.
Oh, my.
He beat 6 tackles, and then Chris Perez comes up with an objectionable conduct call, and this team doesn't have any discipline.
Goodness gracious.
The number of penalties the Bombers have taken tonight is absolutely, well, it's horrible because they've taken bad penalties tonight. I'm thinking back to the Elberg penalty that set up the touchdown late in the first half. 12th penalty, 117 yards.
These are mental mistakes. They're not physical like a holding sometimes is a physical. These are mental mistakes, and there's a huge difference.
They do get a first down, though, because the yardage was picked up only it's back a little farther. Now the Bombers get a penalty as Abraham was too close in his coverage of Larry Thompson that time.
You know, before Ken Lazarick makes his call,
legal contact on eligible receiver. Toronto, number 3. First down, Winnipeg.
So the Bombers do get a penalty back here.
You ask any coach around and what I mean, penalties are not acceptable at any time, but what are the more palatable ones? And certainly physical mistakes are palatable, but the mental mistakes are the ones that absolutely drive coaches crazy, and they get players cut.
Bombers have a first down. They're at the Argonaut 32. Here's Kevin Mason. And he had that one tipped. Marcelo Simmons, number 9, got a hand on it. Woohoo.
Was there a little tunnel vision on this throw?
Another marker down. Bombers say it's against the Argonauts. Trevathan is injured. Whether he got decked from behind down there or not, we didn't see it from here, but Mike Trevathan is hurt.
Toronto, number 94, first down repeated.
So the Argos were offside. Todrick McIntosh.
I think he just lined up offside. He didn't get the 1 yard.
7:14 to go, fourth quarter. Mike Trevathan over from the BC Lions, playing his first game as a Blue Bomber. Not exactly 100%. He said he was 85% ready to go, bothered by hamstring problems in BC. He's upset about something. Argos with a 22-11 lead. They trailed at halftime by a point. Likely should have been more the way things were going. However, Kevin Mason looks at 1st and 5. Ball scrimmaged at the Argonaut 27. He has to find the end zone on this drive. 1st and 5, Blue Bombers. Kevin Mason. Good play action fake. And now the heat comes. Mason eludes it again. Looks to throw, and he's back to the original line of scrimmage almost before Simmons finally tracked him down. Marcelo Simmons ran a long way to catch up with the quarterback there.
Well, Kevin Mason looking to his left. He had Larry Thompson and Ted Long to that side. They just simply didn't get open for him. And that's enough time to throw the football. His people up front did a good enough job for him. Now the fun starts, but I mean, that is not Kevin Mason's fault, and he did the best he could to get out of that. But I mean, with Mike Trevathan out of the lineup now, you look at a receiving core of Matt DeBuck, Larry Thompson, Spencer McLennan, and Ted Long.
That's not going to frighten too many teams.
No, it's just a tough one. They're not getting open. Very simple.
2nd and 14, Mason, a quarterback draw. And then lost the ball, but I think he was in the grasp at that point in time. He got back to the original line of scrimmage, facing 2nd and 14.
Well, that's not all bad. You know, there's 5:53 to go. You get 3 points, 22-14. You're a touchdown and a 2-point convert away from tying this game, which is not out of the realm of possibility. Mason has taken a few shots.
He's been sacked 5 times.
Well, I think he knows the hand he's been dealt, though. I mean, he goes quarterback draw at 2nd and long. He's looking in that huddle and saying, I think I got to get it done myself.
Running out of receivers.
This is not a good hand.
I don't have targets here. Westwood made a long one, missed an easy one, and he's got this one. So he gets the Bombers 3 points closer. They wanted a touchdown. They settled for 3. It's 22-14 at Skydome.
When you're a champion, you've got to work night and day to protect your title. Everyone wants to put you to the test, to make you sweat. But if you've got antibacterial odor fighters in your corner and 24-hour wetness protection, the kind you find in new Speed Stick Ultimate Antiperspirant, the best Speed Stick ever, you'll be a star in and out of the ring. New Speed Stick Ultimate, tough 24-hour protection.
5 minutes.
It's the way we welcome the sun with 35 sunblock. The way some of the best water now mostly comes in bottles. It's the way we make time for exercise and like to enjoy reading. Today, more and more people are finding reasons to take better care of themselves. That's why Subway offers 7 subs, each under 6 grams of fat. Because when you're through surfing, you might want to go for a swim. Subway, it's the way a sandwich should be.
Molson Canadian Championship Racing Series is ready to roll in Ohio. Sunday, points leader Alex Zanardi drives for a repeat at the Miller 200. See it, live it, TSN.
5:35 to go, fourth quarter. Jeff Reinbold is down 22-14. Let's bring in David Amber on the sidelines.
Yeah, thanks, John. Mike Trevathan, it looks like he'll be back in the game. It's his right knee, twisted it on a play in the last series. He says he'll be all right. Should be back in the game on the next set of downs. And it looks like they're also going to be sticking with Kevin Mason. Despite the anemic offense, TJ Rubley standing here with a baseball cap on his head.
That's a pretty good indication right there. But how about this for that scoring drive for the Blue Bombers? 4 penalties on the drive. It took 3 minutes and 41 seconds. And the Bombers moved the ball a total of 6 yards to set up the Westwood field goal. I mean, that's anemic.
That is a feat in itself to have it for over 3 minutes and only go 6 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, that should count for something.
It's not so bad if you've got the lead and you take 3:41 off the clock, but if you're trying to catch up, you don't want to do it that way. Here's Mitchell on first down from Bell.
The stuff we come up with.
So Bell connects with Mitchell, and it's about a 3-yard gain. 5:10 to go, fourth quarter. Argonauts trying to make it back-to-back victories after winning last week when they got a little lucky, and Mark McLaughlin missed a last play field goal from 26 yards out.
You know, after the third game of the season, if you told me Toronto after 6 games would be 500, I'd have really thought you were kidding. But you know what? Here they have this opportunity.
Bell on second down, pumps once, near side, has his target. It's Mazzotti, and he stretches for what should be a first down. Mazzotti hit by Hamilton. He's a little upset at the way he was tackled down there. But this will be an Argonaut first down. 4:42 to go.
No, I asked him before the game. I said, "Is this going to be breakout night?" Because I mean, he has really struggled. Only 13 catches coming into this game, but he said, "I don't know. You just never know." 3 for 27 tonight, so he's up to 16 in his 6th game. Not exactly how he envisioned this season, but he knew it was going to be different without his pal Doug Flutie here, and you know, to his credit, he's willing to accept that until things turn around, and I'm sure they will.
Mazzotti back to back 1,000-yard season, 3 in a row. Kerwin Bell on first down, behind the targets.
Bell he's been behind a lot tonight, just a fraction, not enough that you'd say it's really ugly, but just enough. I mean, Mazzotti ran a good pattern there, was open, and about 2 or 3 times at least it's been behind Daryl Mitchell tonight. They're tough catches to make, especially when you're going into traffic. I mean, you want to make that catch and get ready for the hit, and that's a tough one to make.
It'll be 2nd and 10, Argonauts with a 22-14 lead on the winless Winnipeg Blue Bombers as the struggle continues for Jeff Reinbold's team. Bell gets a little heat, and away from that, an opportunity for the first down. Second time he's lost his helmet.
Good night.
Is hurt.
Good night.
He's up quickly, however. What a big hit on Bell, and the Bomber defenders are cheering him. The hat has popped off Kerwin Bell twice tonight. He is not a graceful sprinting quarterback.
Well, you know, you could see him. He knew he was trying to get to the first down, and then he knew, I'm not getting there.
No, I want to
Here
get
it is.
there.
Oh, shit.
Nick Ferguson, number 33.
He's got to get a tighter chin strap.
His chin strap or the helmet? I guess a little of both. That hurts the ears. He comes up a yard short after all that. So Blunt is back. Prefontaine sets to kick. Eric Blunt, 1 touchdown on a kickoff return earlier. Nowhere to go tonight so far. 40-yard punts. And the Blue Bombers running out of time, but they still have 3 minutes and 24 seconds on the clock.
You know, you could just see with Kerwin Bell, he gets about 3-4 yards to that first down marker, and he's saying to himself, what have I done?
This is a bad decision.
What have I done? Oh, man, that was a hit.
Bombers beginning back at the 23-yard line. They have had horrible field position. the entire second half, or at least most of it. That last drive for the 3 points notwithstanding, it was set up fairly well for them there. Mason near side. A little confusion down there.
Well, had that been on target, Abraham had a touchdown.
Because Matt DeBuck couldn't get to it.
Not with a ladder.
They've listed DeBuck as 5'8", and that's a little bit of a stretch in his case. He's an ex-Argo who was around for most of the Grey Cup year last year. Didn't play in the playoffs or the Grey Cup game.
Bob Nicholson, the president of the Argonauts, gave Matt DeBuck his Grey Cup ring tonight. Beautiful ring. It's as big as him.
3:04 to go. There's a timeout at Skydome. The Bombers are in a heap of trouble.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's 3-2, bottom of the ninth, 2 out, 2 on, and Jose Gonzalez is stepping up to the plate, wielding that big bat of his. Okay, pitcher's got the sign, and here's the pitch. Oh, my! He got a hold of that one. Rivers is heading back to the track. Back. Caught! Oh, my goodness, what a catch! Well, there are going to be some happy fans going home tonight, huh, Tommy?
Get yourself race ready with the Fram Speed Zone Saturday, right here on TSN.
The Labatt Beach Volleyball Tour continues. The Big Spike hits the beach Saturday, right here on TSN.
Jeff Reinbold running out of time as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are staring straight at their 6th straight loss to begin the season. Down 22-14. And looking at 2nd and 10 back at the 23-yard line. No Bomber team has ever begun the season at 0 for 6. 0-5 has happened before, but it was 1955. Al Sherman was the coach of the Blue Bombers the last time they began a season 0-5.
Well, I mean, it's safe to say the longer you go, the tougher it gets.
Tough sequence here facing Kevin Mason, who's gone all the way at quarterback. Shotgun. Mason to his left. Can't find a target. Decides to run here. One move there. Took a big hit. He's well short of the first down, at least by 3 yards. Seems to me, Leaf, when he has decided to take off tonight, he has really waited a long time before making that decision.
Well, I think, you know, he's just desperately hoping that a receiver's going to get open for him. And when they go back and look at the film, it's certainly not going to be the fault of Kevin Mason that the offense didn't function tonight. I mean, he just not have a lot of receivers to go to. Toronto's got a tough secondary, and, you know, his receiving corps has been overmatched by that secondary. He's just had no place to go.
11th punt of the ball game coming up for the Blue Bombers. Here's Cameron behind it. There should be a marker going down, and it does. Sherman Smith on the return. 37-yard kick. Ball did squirt loose, but it was after the whistle. So Kerwin Bell back in the game after taking that big hit. Tightens up the chin strap, pulls down the helmet.
No yards. Winnipeg number 18. First down, Toronto.
So Spencer McLennan was a little too close in the downfield coverage. Argonauts with 2:33 to go. Have good field position to begin with. And just time to run a little bit more off the clock and make the hole a little harder for the Bombers to dig out of. Toronto beginning at the 51-yard line. Bell back to throw. There's big heat on him again, and tight coverage on the pass intended for pinball Mike Clemens. The heat was from Rogers, the coverage from Carthon, and Kerwin Bell knows he's been in a football game here tonight.
Boy, he has taken some serious shots tonight, and a couple with his running, and of course a couple standing in the pocket. Look at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Should they lose their 6th game in a row, next week they're at home to the BC Lions a week from tomorrow, which we will have on Friday Night Football. You know, as I said, when you get in one of these situations, the longer you go, the tougher it gets.
So Barker moves in behind the starter, Kerwin Bell. That'll be Jay Barker, who started a couple of games for the Argonauts while Kerwin Bell was recovering. Moved to football club. He got 1 win for the Argonauts, as a matter of fact.
Not bad. Typical of a young rookie quarterback. The interception to touchdown ratio, as you see on your screen, and you know, pretty much what Winnipeg has suffered through with T.J. Rubley. Same type of thing. Had Toronto had to go the whole season with Jay Barker, you know, I think they would have found themselves in some difficulty too.
Barker took a pretty good hit in his CFL debut in Saskatchewan. Scrivener nailed him.
Oh, what a shot that was.
That was a heck of a shot.
There's been some unbelievable shots this year. In the Calgary game a week ago, was it Marcelo Simmons? They nailed the one Calgary receiver.
Here's Mike Clemens. Finally grabbed from behind by Joe Fleming. 2:22 to go. The Bombers on the verge of victory loss number 6. 6 games without a victory. And Jeff Reinbold has to be wondering what's going on. His record coming into tonight as the Bomber head coach, 4 wins and 19 losses. 4-20 doesn't sound very good.
I mean, you're just not quite sure it can happen, but let's just not forget it's 22-14 and they're a touchdown and they're 2 plays away from tying this ball game up. That's how little it could be to get them back to a tie.
There's time on the clock, but the Bombers really need a big play to get it started. Maybe this is it here. Prefontaine kicking to Blunt. They haven't had good returns so far tonight. Down to 2 minutes on the clock as Prefontaine runs a little extra off. Not his deepest kick. Blunt's bobbled it. And then he's surrounded at the 25. And the Argonauts say they've recovered the fumble. 37-yard kick. Blunt couldn't hang on. And Charles Assman comes up with a loose football. The Argonauts have a turnover, and the Bombers are done like dinner.
Well, Blunt had difficulty handling this all the way, but he got it tucked away, and then a solid hit by John Raposo, who locks it loose, and Charles Assman with the recovery. And you're right. Serious handle there.
He's not the guy that David Letterman made famous, but the spelling is the same. I believe his name was Dick, and he lived in Regina.
Yep, he did.
It still does, as a matter of fact. 1:53
and he's
to
famous.
Go. He is famous. Thanks to David Letterman. Jay Barker at the controls. Mike Clemens, his hands on the football. Nice run for Mike Clemens, following his blocks beautifully, still going down to the 5-yard line and inside. This guy is one of the most amazing football players you're ever going to see. He is really something extremely special. Mike Pinball Clemens.
Well, he sure is. And, you know, what's interesting about this play, too, watch. Barker actually, Jay Barker gets back into it as a blocker. Now,
there was nothing there initially, Lee.
But you watch, Barker's going to end up coming back and overtaking Clemens here, and he's trying to throw a block. He'll come into your screen right about now. There he is. Not much of a block.
It wasn't much of a block, but
got to appreciate the effort.
And he's still going and stepping down. They've spotted the ball at the 1-yard line. And
you know what?
All the credit to Mike Clemens there.
You know, not every game is going to be an oil paint. And when you can win ugly, boy, you know you've got a decent team when you win the ugly one.
Clemens for the touchdown. He's up and over from 1 yard out. No one deserves it more than Mike Pinball Clemens. He ran it 25 yards to set it up, and he's into the end zone on his first crack at it from the 1-yard line. First rushing touchdown of the season for Mike Clemens. And it really was set up on a beautiful play. Up and over for Mike Clemens, touchdown number 1.
Well, the Argonauts take advantage of the fumble by Eric Blunt, get the icing touchdown right here, and as you indicated, couldn't happen to a better guy.
When you see Mike Clemens before the football game, he kind of makes your night. The smile is bigger than anything you can really imagine.
Yeah, he's great.
And there'll be a close-up of him smiling on the sidelines, I'm sure. Prefontaine pokes it through with a minute 36 to go. And the Argonauts have a 28-14 lead on the Blue Bombers, who did nothing at all offensively here at Skydome tonight.
Pretty good night for Mike Clemens. Wife sings the national anthem. He gets 2 touchdowns. The team wins. Life's pretty good.
Yeah, life's not bad. For a guy who a lot of people wondered about 2 years ago when Don Matthews took over this football team, what his role would be. And it took a few games of the 1996 season before Matthews found the role for Mike Clemens.
Yeah, and Flutie, too. I mean, I think if my memory serves me correct, it was about Game 6 when they finally figured out what his contribution was going to be. And then, of course, he never looked back that season. You know, quite frankly, 4 years ago, I thought, you know, maybe his career was kind of winding down, but
well,
he took on a new role.
It's winding down after you've been around 11 years.
No, but he took on a new role as a receiver, and it was not just the running back and the kick returner any longer. It was a whole new dimension to his game, and, you know, that's allowed him to play at a very, very high level for 4 more years.
And really, he wasn't involved in this football game as a running back until later in the game. He didn't get his hands on the football a great deal in the first half. Just pecked away a yard here, yard there, and then cracked a couple, and then a pretty run for a 25-yard setup for the touchdown.
And he's just probably telling everybody else what a great job they've done tonight, not him.
There's the smile. Argonauts kick it off. The Bombers are done. Down 29-14. And Eric Blunt hangs on to this one. He fumbled the last return. Bombers have not had a great return game so far tonight. Special teams going the other way have held the Argonauts in check on returns. The real story has been offense, and looking at Kevin Mason's stats tonight, he doesn't appear to be the answer to the Bombers' quarterbacking woes either. I agree with you. I think at some point when they were still in this ball game, trailing by 11 points, it was time to have a look at T.J. Rublin. Now Mason runs. Gain is about 5 yards. He lost the ball. And the Argonauts may have another fumble. They do. Argonauts have recovered a couple. It's Marcelo Simmons or Donald Smith. Mason is hurt.
Well, Maurice Miller drags him down from behind, and the hit jars the ball loose by Kelly Wiltshire, and I do believe Donald Smith.
You are right, Donald Smith.
19, well,
he just about recovered it 3 times there.
There you go.
Third turnover by the Bombers. And really, that had been an area that they were concerned about coming into this game, but they didn't turn it over until late tonight.
I think they'll look back at this game, and I don't think there's any question that they had opportunities. They had opportunities in the first half to take advantage of Toronto mistakes. And, you know, the longer you keep a good team, which I think Toronto is, the longer you keep a good team in a game, you know, the worse your chances are going to be to win that game when you're the team that comes in as the underdog.
Lots of heat on the Blue Bombers coaching staff. Joe Pow has felt some of it for his offensive strategies. Now T.J. Rubley is coming in relief of an injured Kevin Mason.
Well, he may not have to worry about it. Toronto with a minute 18, you know, probably can kill the clock here. And
when I say coming in, or at least should say warming up, because it will be Toronto football, they'll be able to wipe a little bit off this clock, showing a minute 18 to go now. Not sure where the Bombers go from here. Leaf back to the drawing board, obviously, but the receiving core is not strong enough, even adding Trevathan. Much discussion this week about releasing Chris Armstrong, who was the leading receiver in Winnipeg. He was quickly picked up by Montreal and scored a touchdown for the Alouettes tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what went on there, but obviously there was something with head coach and receiver that didn't click. Because, I mean, that's, you know, that's tough because that's a major signing in the offseason. Winnipeg had a number of them. You look at Millington, Joe Fleming, Maurice Kelly, Chris Armstrong. You had Larry Thompson. Goodness, you know, you'd think right now you've got a pretty good nucleus, but it just
From that list, it's been Fleming who's played well here tonight.
Grant Carter.
That's about it.
Grant Carter came back halfway through last season. So there are some quality football players at this point in time. They are just not gelling together. You know, and Joe Paopao is a great friend of mine and a wonderful guy. I just question some of these one-man patterns that they ran tonight. If they're great, if you've got a guy that's getting open, but if he's not, I mean, your quarterback's in a lot of trouble.
Like Clemens reversing his field. Here goes finding a block. And Clemens appeared to lose the football for a split second there, but he hangs on. Was Barker leading the blockers again?
He was out there leading the charges again. He's going to keep doing this until one guy just absolutely drills him, and then he may lose his enthusiasm for being a blocker.
There are blocking backs, but few blocking quarterbacks.
Obviously, Colin Scribner, or was it Glenn? I couldn't tell it.
Now you've lost me.
I think it was Colin. Obviously, he didn't dampen Barker's enthusiasm to get his nose dirty.
It was Colin. Glenn Scribner is out of the Blue Bomber lineup, injured. And Mike Clemens takes a few more ticks off the clock here at Skydome. Argonauts 29, Blue Bombers 14. Another long night for the blue and gold. I'm sure they'll fire up the sports hotline shows in Winnipeg again.
Oh, they've been
in the week ahead.
They have been torturous out there.
Reinbold was at his coach's show at Ray and Jerry's restaurant in Winnipeg the other night, and the calls were coming fast and furious, and they were not agreeing with all his decisions. But when he got there, and I guess this says something about the guy as a coach, his entire football team showed up in the restaurant and was there in support because everybody knew the heat was on the Blue Bombers.
Well, I don't think there's any question about Jeff Reinbold. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a great guy. And he's a player's coach. And, you know, sometimes you may hang with players a little longer than you should because of that. But nobody can accuse him of not being a well-liked guy. And he's struggling, and I feel for him.
Prefontaine is wide on this field goal. 23 seconds on the clock as Ted Long takes it out of bounds, far side of the field. So what might have been a little bit of a confidence builder for Prefontaine there doesn't work out that way. Just a little attempt with no pressure on him at all, and it was not to be. So T.J. Rubley is in at the controls. He gets 18 seconds.
I think you said to Reinbold, should I go for the win or the tie?
Yeah, what are we playing for here, Coach? He completes the long one here. No, it's that kind of a night. Oh, Blunt grabbed it after it deflected off another Bomber receiver. Eric Blunt
He nearly knocked Millington over with that initial throw.
Tough night all around for the Bombers, who dropped to 0-6. Worst start in team history. Whoa! Rubley finds Ted Long with 4 seconds remaining. And now Rubley is, or not Rubley, the center. Van Conant, I believe. Another injured Blue Bomber down there being taken care of. Tomorrow night, Friday Night Football. Guarantee you it's going to be a better football game than this one was tonight.
Both teams, Hamilton and Edmonton, 4-1. The return of Ron Lancaster, Danny McManus, Darren Flutie to Commonwealth Stadium.
A question about who will start for quarterback for the Eskimos, whether Archer is ready to go again, or whether they'll let Jay Kemp carry on where he left off last week. There's lots on the line in that one tomorrow night. Adidas Friday Night Football from Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. As it stands right now, the two best teams in the CFL go head-to-head in that one. Both at 4-1. Earlier tonight, Montreal beat BC. The other game tomorrow, Calgary at Saskatchewan, and I read with interest that they can't find a favorite in that game. Calgary at Saskatchewan. It's pick'em.
Yeah. Calgary coming off a loss to the Argonauts a week ago.
Final was 22-16 for the Alouettes over the BC Lions.
I'm not going to see that one tomorrow night, Friday night, but I'm going to Ty Domi's annual summer bash. Should be a good party.
Where is it?
It's at his house. What do you think?
Well, I'm available. I've got nothing to do tomorrow night.
Got to be a friend of Ty's. You a friend of Ty's?
Well, I don't know. I'm obviously not as close as you are.
I'm not so sure that's always a good thing.
29-14, the Argos have made it 2 wins in a row, and they were more dramatic in this one. They won it with a solid second half and actually began the comeback late in the opening half when they scored a late touchdown and got to within 1. T.J. Rubley is Sean Millington. He made the catch, paid the price. Merciful end for the Blue Bombers here tonight. There's one late hit and a little bit of activity down there. Hendrickson is right in the middle of things. Nothing will come of this, I don't believe.
Take it to the locker room, boys.
Yep.
Never seen anybody hurt in a football fight. seemed rather silly to me.
Yeah. It doesn't make much sense.
Kerwin still has his head intact.
Yeah, he lost his helmet a couple of times tonight. And it was given a little rest on the sidelines for the final few minutes of this one. Jeff Reinbold, well, he's got more problems as a result of tonight than he had coming into this game. The Bombers are 0 for 6.
Play Safeway's $1 Million Touchdown to Win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you have won VTEX 900 megahertz digital cordless telephone with visual name and number call waiting caller ID, featuring 50 caller ID memory, 20 number speed dial storage, and backlit keypad. Or a Samsung Hi8 Hi-Fi stereo camcorder with color viewfinder, 12 times optical power zoom, built-in lens cover, and remote control. Simply treasured for now and for always. Simply Samsung. Enter your ballot at your local Safeway Food and Drug today.
It's the way we welcome the sun with 35 sunblock. The way some of the best water now mostly comes in bottles. It's the way we make time for exercise and like to enjoy reading. Today, more and more people are finding reasons to take better care of themselves. That's why Subway offers 7 subs, each under 6 grams of fat. Because when you're through surfing, you might want to go for a swim. Subway, it's the way a sandwich should be.
This is Fight Night, and I am the king!
Assassination in plain sight. Everyone saw what they were supposed to, but one man saw too much.
It was a phantom punch! Get out of here!
Redhead, she's 1. Tyler's 2. Whoever was on the other end of that radio was 3.
It was a conspiracy.
Nicolas Cage. You're all alone on this. The house wins. Snake Eyes. Friday, August 7th, everywhere.
Could 2 months' salary last forever? A diamond is forever. De Beers.
All right, 29-14 Argos is the final. 2 different games, really. Winnipeg comes out sharp, especially the defense in the first half, but in the second half they did absolutely nothing, and the Argos completely controlled the game, Eric.
Well, it's a nice win for the Argos tonight. There's no question about that, James. They're now 3-3. They're back to 500, and the next 2 weeks are just huge for this football team. They play Montreal next week, the Hamilton Tiger Cats the week after. 2 big Eastern Division wins. If they win those, they're in great position as far as making a run at home field advantage in the Eastern Division playoffs. and Nigel Williams continues to make a big impression. That trade is looking better and better and better for Don Matthews and company. Chris.
Well, full credit for the Toronto Argonauts and a well-deserved victory, especially in the second half. And what can you say about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers? No wins and 6 tries. And it's funny because we've talked about every possible scenario, but my one point of observation, it just seems every time we've had the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, there's always a point in the game where they lose it, right? This game, it was at the 9:48 mark of the third quarter, and basically after that point, it was all over. I don't know if it's the accumulation of penalties, a confidence issue, but something happens to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers where they lose their confidence and they don't work through adversity. Until they find the ability to come from behind, be behind in a game, and not fold the tent, James, they're not going to win very many games.
Well, I think when you only get 11 points off 5 turnovers in the first half, that'll do something to your confidence as well. 29-14 is the final. We have lots more ahead on the post-game show. Pinball and Company get to 500. They're 3-3.
Welcome to Nanaimo, home of the bar, and Vern Goldsberry's Midas.
Vern is an honest guy, and it's got a breath that's very minty.
Hi, I'm Vern Goldsberry, and this is my family.
And Midas does a good job at a fair price, and has a nice current selection of magazines.
Car care, dental care, it's all about trust.
Vern over there at Midas, he saves me quite a bit of money. It's not like I'm a philanthropist.
Right now, Midas is offering our famous front or rear disc brake service package for the incredible price of just $99.95.
Midas Car Care, the way it should be.
Now there's an easier way to make pancakes. Introducing new Eggo pancakes. They're light and fluffy, like homemade. Only you make them in your toaster in just 90 seconds. Flat.
Time now for the TSN Turning Points.
Well, John, it occurred in the second quarter. The Toronto Argonaut offense had really been struggling with turnovers and a bunch of other bad things until Kerwin Bell hooks up with Mike Clements on the long touchdown pass. A beautiful throw, and from that point on, the Argonauts never looked back.
A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport. On behalf of TSN, it's all Argos. The Bombers are cooked tonight. They've lost 6 in a row, and the pinball did them in this one tonight.
CFL football is one tough game. Touch football is one fun game. Football Canada and Football Ontario invite you to have some fun. Join one of the many adult touch football leagues across Canada. The Canadian Football League, along with Molson Canadians, support their efforts. Call Football Canada or Football Ontario and get in the game.
Mike Weir, Esquire.
Lisa Van Exen, Esquire.
Meet the Esquire collection.
Michael Bonaccini, Esquire.
Thomas Klein, Esquire.
A line of fashionable Swiss watches designed for Canadians who like to play as hard as they work.
Shelley Woolner, Esquire.
Todd Binns, Esquire.
Jasmine Selleck, Esquire.
The Contessa, elegant textured dial and sculptured bezel set with sparkling white stones. Esquire watch. It has your name on it.
Deborah Burstein, Esquire.
Hey, Mom. Hi. Can we order pizza? Okay. Time for McCain.
McCain Rising Crust Pizza. The pizzeria pizza from McCain with a rising crust that bakes up fresh in your oven to deliver a perfect crust loaded with more toppings than ever.
Great pizza. Where'd you get it?
Oh, just a little place around the corner.
Rising Crust Pizza, delivered by McCain.
All right, welcome back to the post-game show. There was one other game in the CFL tonight. It happened in Montreal, the Alouettes hosting the Lions, and the Alouettes defeating the Lions. Pretty close game. 22-16 is the final. Now, the key drive, the Owls stopped the Lions on 4 straight plays from the 1-yard line with 3 minutes to go in that one. Tracy Ham, by the way, dressed, that did not play. Anthony Cavillo replacing him, throws for a touchdown, runs for a touchdown. Nice guy to have.
No question. I mean, I think you see in the Owls win tonight the importance of having 2 quarterbacks that can play, James. Tracy Ham doesn't dress. Well, he dresses, but he doesn't play. AC steps up and has a big night. This is a huge win for Montreal at home. It stops the bleeding. They had 2 consecutive losses, and they needed a momentum change, and AC was the man tonight.
And the BC Lions, although they don't win tonight, again, looking like they're on the right track.
Yeah, they are on the right track, but anytime you talk about the fact that you have the ability or you do not have the ability at the 1-yard line to get the ball in at 4 times, that's critical. This is really disappointing for BC because they truly had some momentum going. They had Robert Drummond involved. They kind of changed their philosophy a little bit, but the bottom line is if you can't score with an opportunity like that, just like tonight with the 5 turnovers in Winnipeg, that's tough. This is a very disappointing loss for the BC Lions.
All right, and by the way, we've been knocking the field goal kickers around here the past few weeks. Louis Pasaglia hit 3 tonight. Terry Baker had a couple, so a couple of the guys look like they're getting things turned around. As we head to break, let's check out the standings in the CFL.
It's never too late to start. That's what we've learned.
If you got a dream, you need a plan.
That's what our financial advisor told us 15 years ago when she got us into mutual funds. My dream was this greenhouse.
We were surprised how much we could actually put away.
But we did it.
And it's been growing ever since.
Mackenzie, building financial independence for over 30 years.
You're never too young or too old to enjoy the fresh squeezed taste of McCain Premium Frozen Concentrated Orange Juice. McCain uses the concentrated juice of 14 premium oranges in every can, 100% pure juice. It also comes in 3 more refreshing and nutritious orange varieties for your family to enjoy. Here's to happiness, life, and family. From McCain.
All right, welcome back. Well, my friends over here have been drooling about this one all week. Tomorrow night, the game of the year so far, the Tiger Cats against the Eskimos, the 2 best teams in the league so far, and Ronnie Lancaster's return to Edmonton. And the question for the Eskimos, who will be playing quarterback?
Well, I think my status is still up in the air. I'm going to have to wait and see how it feels right before kickoff. Obviously, I don't want to be a detriment to my team, but I also want to be able to go out and make some things happen that I haven't seen so far.
I'm prepared. I've gotten a lot of practice this week, and we'll see game time how Dave feels, and if he's ready, then that's good for our team. We need Dave, and he brings a lot of experience. If not, then I'll be ready to go.
You don't come into another team's park. And so you come in here, you expect the fans to be against you. That's half the fun of playing on the road. You know, you go into hostile territory. You don't expect anything different. But you don't worry about that. You worry about those guys in the green jersey that are between the white lines. They're still a pretty good football team.
It's another game. It's great to come back, see the happy faces on y'all's face. You know, it is another game. Sure, there's going to be excitement tomorrow, but if I get caught up in that, then I won't be able to do what I need to do on the field.
All right, that's Adidas Friday Night Football tomorrow night. Can't wait for it. Who do you like, Eric?
Well, both of these coaches have done a great job, James. I mean, Case Stevenson and Ronnie Lancaster, but I think tomorrow night the advantage has to go to Hamilton. Edmonton's just had too many injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Leroy Blue, Ian Franklin, Robert Brown's out, Tommy Gerhardt's out for the season. Again, Case done a heck of a job, but Hamilton is healthy and Edmonton isn't, Chris.
Hamilton is healthy, but I think also kind of like a mitigating factor is the fact that it's hard to win in Commonwealth Stadium, and sometimes you may have some injuries. It kind of balances out when you're playing at home. I think a big issue, too, is David Archer, Jimmy Kemp. Who starts, who plays, who's effective, and when do you substitute? Those are going to be critical decisions for Edmonton to have in the game if they're going to pull out the win.
Now, Edmonton 4-1. I don't think anybody thought Edmonton would be 4-1 when David Archer hasn't thrown a TD pass yet. That's surprising.
Well, it's very surprising to me. me, and you got to give credit to Jimmy Kemp because he's been directly involved in some of those wins. Edmonton's a funny football team because they have won the overtime with Toronto. They kind of got blown away in Saskatchewan. They really haven't been consistent. They have done what they've had to do to win. So, you know, they are winning the football games, but they're not necessarily winning them nice or winning them pretty. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, but you played a long time, and you know it doesn't matter if it's pretty or not. It's still a win, and Edmonton has found a way to win, and it's been defense and special teams, and they haven't had turnovers on offense. I just think the defense is a little too banged up right now. Hamilton's going over there at 100%, and in this league with small rosters, healthy football players are a necessary ingredient if you're going to win, James.
All right, and the winning team tomorrow night will have the best record in the CFL, of course, only through 6 games, but hey, it's still something to brag about early. That's Adidas. Friday Night Football tomorrow night. Danny McManus and the Ticats against the Eskimos. We'll be right back.
We want you to speak up. Off the record, of course. Just look for the Hotspot video display at a TSN Gatorade event in your community, and we'll videotape your comments to our Hot Topic of the Week. We'll feature the best comments on Off the Record Thursdays at 6 p.m. Hit tsn.ca/Gatorade to find a TSN Gatorade Zone event near you.
Here's where you can find the TSN Gatorade Zone across Canada.
When you're a champion, you've got to work night and day to protect your title. Everyone wants to put you to the test, to make you sweat. But if you've got antibacterial odor fighters in your corner and 24-hour wetness protection, the kind you find in new Speed Stick Ultimate Antiperspirant, the best speed stick ever, you'll be a star in and out of the ring. New Speed Stick Ultimate, tough 24-hour protection.
5 minutes. I don't make the big plays, and I don't make the headlines. I don't make the fans jump to their feet, but I do make a difference. I'm that boy.
Jays, Mariners, TSN Tuesday.
The Labatt Beach Volleyball Tour continues. The Big Spike hits the beach Saturday right here on TSN.
CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Gatorade. Is it in you? And by the new Speed Stick Ultimate Antiperspirant for tough 24-hour protection.
All right, welcome back. 29-14 Argos is the final here. And as we look at our final thoughts on the game, Chris, what do you do if you're Winnipeg? Is it the coach's fault?
Well, not necessarily so, because I look at the penalties and I look at the turnovers and the players play the game. In order to truly play the game, you have to be technique perfect, and that's an individual decision on a player to truly become a master of his game. As much as Ryan Bolt will probably take the loss for this, I got to look at the players, Eric, and I got to say you are the ones making the mistakes.
Well, you just can't have the penalties that they're having, as you pointed out. I mean, it's a 100-yard difference of what Winnipeg had and what Toronto had. You know, there's a lot of pressure on this coaching staff. I had a chance to visit with Jeff and Joe last night, and they're as frustrated as any fans in Winnipeg. Ultimately, it's a business. It's based on wins and losses, and if Jeff Reinbold loses his job, it's going to be Jeff Reinbold, the GM, that maybe cost Jeff Reinbold, the head coach, the job. He's the guy that elected to go this season with TJ Rubley and Chris Vargas at quarterback, and right now, it doesn't look pretty, James.
All right, 29-14, as we say, Argos is the final. They moved to 3-3. The Bombers stuck at 0-6. And again, we're looking ahead till tomorrow night. Once again, Adidas Friday Night Football, Gizmo and the Eskimos hosting the Hamilton Tiger Cats, a battle for first place in the CFL. Tennis tomorrow. Tennis, anyone? Yeah, we got plenty. Goran Ivanisevic and Andre Agassi from the De Maurier. That's our key match tomorrow. Sports Desk is up next. Who says the trading deadline is the end of trades? The Jays pulled another one today. Randy Myers goes to San Diego. Our boys will explain it for you in just a couple of minutes. Jeff Reinbold, well, what do you do? 0-6, 0 for July, 0 for August so far. Pinball, well, they're doing a lot better. They're 3-3. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night.
See it, live it. TSN.
Ahead on the 0-6 as aforementioned. And will Jeff Reinbold coach again? Looked like he was saying his goodbyes at the end of this game, Gino.
Well, if you're looking for a job in the CFL, head west. The Lions are hurting right now. 16 guys on the injured list going into tonight's game against the Alouettes. And the Owls are on the hobble as well. Only 5 guys on the injured list, but their starting quarterback, Tracy Ham, is still sitting on the sidelines with a sore knee. He dressed but was not ready to start tonight's game. So Anthony Cavillo was in for his first start of the year with a new club, and his defense helped him out early on. BC up 7-0. Damian Allen picked off by Baron Miles. And Cavillo, then it's up to him to take advantage, and he does take advantage. He hooks up with Chris Armstrong for the 8-yard touchdown pass. Game is tied at 7 thanks to the new guy. Before the end of the quarter, 8-7 Alouettes. Terry Baker from 44 yards out splits the uprights. It's 11-7 Montreal at Molson Stadium. BC couldn't get anything going the rest of the way. Allen sacked by Alfred Payton. Fourth quarter, Cavillo takes it in from 1 yard out as the Owls beat the Lions 22-16. This snaps the Owls' 2-game losing streak and the Lions' 2-game winning streak. Cavillo, not a bad job filling in for the injured Tracy Ham. 10 for 21, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, 138 yards total passing, and there were over 14,000 fans on hand at the stadium. We'll have reaction from this game for you later on the show. Good-looking game on tap for Adidas Friday Night Football as Ron